and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, your host, and we are live today on YouTube. It's Thursday, August 27th, 8:45 p.m., and we're going to be giving away another Drafters ticket tonight. Going to be a fun time. Going to be a chance to get in, and it's a different hashtag tonight. It is actually a slightly different hashtag. We normally do hashtag blunt. Tonight, it is going to be hashtag nice. Hashtag nice in the chat does enter you for the free ticket giveaway. I also put up a poll. I'm going to let you guys decide which contest you want. I can not do the high roller, but we're either going to get the main event or the survival going. We'll draft in that contest you guys choose, and we will give away a ticket as well. So hashtag nice in the chat if you want a free ticket. Let's get to it though. Let's do a draft. We're going to enter a BBM first. Let me bring in the chat real quick. We got Pepper Tony in the house. We got the question, doing a high roller. I wish Pepper Tony, but not tonight. We don't have the capacity to give those away, unfortunately. But Game Tight's in here. What's up? Yeah, the QJ stonks are rising, aren't they? Fun play in tonight's preseason game. If you watch the full like Herbert experience, he was on the field for like 4 plays, and it was wild. He had a botched handoff. He fumbled the ball on the first play. He comes in on the second drive, has a batted down pass on 1st and 10, and then on 2nd and 10 just throws it for a 65-yard touchdown. Just easy peasy, like nothing ever happened. We love Herbert. We do love it. But yeah, hashtag nice in the chat. Love to see y'all getting it done. Let's see. Yeah, we got 5 entries so far. Hashtag nice is how you get in for this ticket drawing this evening. What's up, Best Ball Cabal? How we doing? Nice to see you. Aaron Haight in the house says QJ wasted his deep touchdown cast in the preseason. Yeah, we want those to stay all year, but it's indicative of what's possible. That's all I care about. Good to see it. Hashtag nice in the chat for your free ticket. All right, let's get over to BBM, shall we? Let's enter. We're gonna do BBM first, and then we'll do the drafters and vote in the poll to decide which contest we'll be giving away. But if you want to be drafting with me, we're gonna hit that countdown. I recommend you enter somewhere between Baker and Brett Favre.
Nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, rank up, inhale, exhale, points rail, nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, big drop, inhale, exhale, points rail.
All right, fetching our draft. There's 3 spots available in this BBM. If you want it, come and get it. And I've been drafting a bit more in BBM lately. I've actually started to think it might be worth my time. I've only done about 33 BBMs at this point. Nothing too crazy, but I originally set my cap at about 40. I didn't. Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes, baby. We get the 101. Hell yeah. Influencer 101. Finally. I'm finally moving up in the world. No longer stuck at the 8 spot like always. Let's go. I pulled the 101. The Beast at pick 2. Game Tight is drafting Jamar Chase at the 103. Craig B's in this one. Solid 90. Excellent. Spelled a little different, but excellent. Super Beast, our boy Keith, is not the only beast in this lobby. He's at pick 7. City Champ at the 8. Primo Pasta. That sounds good at the 9. Icky 77. Splascon. And then Gohorns pulling up the caboose. I'm glad to be as far away from Gohorns as possible. The big badges are on the other side of this lobby. We have Splaston with a gold badge and Gohorns with a bronze. The Beast next to me also has a bronze, but we're not afraid of y'all's badges. We trust our ability always. But let me get back to the chat. Yeah, that's just a taste of what's to come. Hopefully, not only will it be for QJ, it'll also happen for Ladd. It'll also happen for Trey Harris. It may also happen for someone like Brandon Thompson. I think Brandon Thompson could also be on the highlight reel. But Interesting. Game tight goes Devon Achan at 3. He heard me call out his inevitable Jamar Chase pick, and he said, "You don't know me that well, Adam. You don't know what I'm cooking up. You don't know shit about Game Tight's strategy." Game Tight pulls up Achan in honor of Pepper Tony. Good luck, Game Tight. Good luck. But yeah, hashtag nice in the chat to enter a free ticket giveaway for the drafters. I guess it says main event down below, but we will stick with the poll. We'll trust the poll to decide. I have a feeling y'all will just enter the main event. I think you'd rather get the $15 than the 10, but I do think the survival contest is really, really worth your time as well. I love the survival contest, but Pepper Tony saying, still time for the naysayers to catch up. Don't say you weren't warned. Pepper Tony's getting hyped on his QJ stonks. But, yeah, David Njoku is free. David Njoku is free. You're right, Pepper Tony. He is. What's up, Meg? Nice to see you. Yeah, we're on to the Best Ball Jeopardy finals. We took down Nez, and I did the math. I ended up with 8,500 points last night. 8,500 was my final score. I believe that's the third in a row match where I've scored over 8,000. I am cooking it in Best Ball Jeopardy. O'Doonican drafted the 101 Saturday in a 14-man PPR. I was the 2-time champ, then didn't make the playoffs last year. Comeback season. Good luck, O'Doonican. The bookend can be tough sometimes. A 14-man league, you can get boxed out, but you have access to Jahmyr Gibbs. You can go Jahmyr Gibbs if you want Bijan. I don't think I would do that, but I don't think it's insane either. Having that elite running back in a 14-man full PPR league, given they're going to be catching like 80-plus receptions, that's going to be lit. But Pepper Tony wants me to pull up QJ. Not here. Maybe at the 6-7, perhaps. But Aaron says, I'm about to hit my 100th draft of the season tonight. Also, finally unlocked the black badge. So no longer badgeless. Congrats. You got your you've been at AA for at least a month now. You got your chip, as I like to call it. But congrats, Aaron. That's a legit amount of volume. 100 drafts. Congrats. Congrats on the badge. But Vitrano, what is up? Nice to see you this evening. Angus in the house. What's up, brother? Congrats on the Best Ball Jeopardy win. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have one opponent left. We are not done. We need 4 wins, not 3. Herzig is our final battle. He's going down. Herzig's going down. I am pretty vehemently double tap receiver when you start off with Gibbs or Bijan, so that's what I'm going to do. I will take Olave first and then George Pickens. We will stick to it. Chris Olave, George Pickens at the turn. But did I piss you off, Game Type? Did I piss you off? Just you don't like when the man says you're gonna do something. You know, it's like, oh well, I was gonna help you, but the way you said it, now I'm not interested. That type of mentality. But yeah, Game Type definitely making Pepper Tony happy. Beck hitting the hashtag nice. So is DJ Quill. Good to see you. Mike McCullough also hitting the hashtag. But yes, appreciate that, DJ. Quill was watching, and Quill knows her shit. Honestly, DJ Quill, I would invite you on the channel if you have any interest in doing a drafters before the season is over. I would love to have you on the channel. DJ Quill has performed very well on drafters. I believe had 3 top 50. I forget who Hames brought up when he mentioned it, but DJ Quill knows her shit, especially on drafters. Very, very sharp. I'm sure she crushes it here on Underdog as well. But appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, we've held the bar over 8,000 on all 3 games. But so close to the it's over 9,000. I don't think I'm familiar with that meme. I don't think I've seen that meme before. But game tight. I mean, of all the spirit animals to have, dolphins are extremely intelligent. Like, if you were going to be reincarnated as like another animal, I kind of feel like dolphin is like maybe top 3. I feel like dolphin could be top 3. But DJ Quill, I will be in touch. I don't know if you have Twitter under the same name, but I will look for you in the Who Hames Discord. I will look for you, and we still have just under 2 weeks of the season. If we can make it happen, I would love that as well. I will be in touch. Maybe a Raven. You did take Flowers, so you didn't get Henry to fall back, but you do have H-Han and Flowers. There we go. But yeah, appreciate that, Mr. Mufasa. I was having the other round of before that to play along and practice. I entered hour 2 ready to dominate, and I did. I made myself proud. We have one more ground, and then we take home the crown. Boy, I never take Bucky, but I might get buried if I was wrong this whole time. I might really regret not taking Bucky. So I'm going to take him here. I still feel a little gross doing it. Not going to lie, I feel a little gross, but it's worth mixing in. Let's trust that it's just a really good pick, so I'm not going to overcrowd my running back room. I'm just going to bring in JMO, and we'll go true upside. There's not a receiver at the next turn or really later that can offer the same production as JMO. I was on with Jiri about an hour ago. We took QJ in the 7th round, in the mid-7th, and I did say he's like the light version of JMO, which I believe is true. You're not going to get the same value as JMO. That would be overselling it. However, it's not like they go in the same round. It's not like they're the same pick. So to get QJ 30 picks later, something like that, I think is a fair discount, but it's better to just get the real thing. And JMO here at the 4-5 turn is a very safe pick. Also great in best ball because he's going to finish with a lot of points, whereas like on the season, JMO usually averages like top 20, top 18 points per game. But the way that he gets there, some games he just disappears and doesn't show up. And so instead of having an average a little more flat, the games where there's the discrepancy and the floor just bottoms out and it's non-existent, that gets applied to the other games and the ceiling is that much higher. I'd rather have some more volatile, explosive players in best ball, such as JMO, as opposed to the steady Eddie weekly consistency of, let's say, Terry McLaurin. I think Terry could be as good as JMO, but even if they finish with the same numbers on the year, I think the advance rate possibly could be higher on Jamison Williams because you need those spike weeks. If he's not going to have enough to hit your lineup, then he basically shouldn't have any points at all. Like 8 points is basically a bagel when your flex has 12, you know, like in this format specifically, I like the volatility. So long way to say JMO's a better pick in best ball than redraft, but sounds good. DJ Quill. I will look for that as soon as I log off tonight, but Cameron hitting the hashtag nice. It is not case sensitive, so regardless of how you type it, you are entered. Let's see where we're looking at when it comes to the entries. I need to bring this one in. There we go. So far we have 15 people in the giveaway. Hashtag nice has been entered 15 separate times. And let's also check in on the poll. What's the poll looking like? Which contest are you guys wanting? Okay, it looks very overwhelmingly. 80% to 20% in favor of the main event. Y'all want that extra $5, don't you? Yeah, the more expensive one is definitely probably worth your time. So that's what I assumed, but I wanted to at least let you guys decide. There's a few votes for the survival, but 8-2 in favor of the main event. That is destined to hold. Destined to hold for sure. But BTJ and Travion fall to pick 69 and 70. That's interesting. That is kind of notable. Would have been. Wow, Cardinal Tate's here. Shit. Oh, damn. I think I'm going to take him. Damn. I don't know if I really want to right now, but I'm going to do it. Fuck. That doesn't feel the most inspiring, but maybe we're just having a panic attack unnecessarily. Maybe he's going to be really good. Here, I'm actually Rico over Jalen Warren. So I'm just going to stick to that. I kind of want a team that's a little bit different, but here's the thing. I've already drafted Bucky. I've already done that. I've already taken a pick that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, a little bit different than what I'm used to. I am not fully sold that Bucky's actually worth the pick I just took him at. But to also mix in a guy I don't have as highly ranked, I think is just unnecessary. Like last night in BBM, we did kind of a similar thing. We took a few picks that just weren't quite common, like that Michael Wilson team that was on the same team as Parker Washington. I think it's fine to have a few times, but in general, if there's one pick that really feels shaky and you're like, all right, I'll try it just so I have it, I don't think it's the best thing in the world to like, okay, well that just means every round I'm just going elsewhere. I already took a pick I was like not as sure on with the Cardinal Tate pick there. The big fall, I think I just have to scoop it up, but that could have been wrong. I didn't want to have two wrong picks, and even though I think Warren's fine, I just think Rico has higher upside. I think Rico has more touchdowns this year. I think he more clearly has a chance to get 1,000 rushing yards. I think that's more likely to happen than it is for Warren. And I think if one of the two were to get hurt, I think Rico is actually capable of handling a 3-down workload. I think Rico can actually be the workhorse because they're not going to want to trust Caleb Johnson very much. I don't actually believe that for Jalen Warren. Warren has never really been that guy. He's a bit more of a capped upside, floor play consistency guy. There's been seasons where Jalen Warren only scores one touchdown. I think Rico has the higher upside for sure. So I'm just going to stick to the rankings on that one. But the Cardinal Tate fall, that's interesting. QJ went 63. Cardinal Tate just went 72. Man, what the preseason can do. The preseason can change things. But, wow, the team at 10 that pulled up QJ took Cortland Sutton over Justin Herbert. That's kind of wild to me. I would definitely just pair him with Herbert if I was going to take QJ there. But then pulls up Matthew Golden. Team 10's doing whatever the fuck he wants. Team 10 is feeling himself. We're going to let them do their own thing. But Aaron saying this is not football related, but went to the Yankee game tonight and Cody Bellinger threw me a ball and I dropped it. Someone else got it. Yeah. That's rough. What's even worse is if you had like a glove, like if you brought a glove to the game and you still didn't catch it. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Okay, I'm on the board here. I will take Jared Goff with one of these picks. I have double Detroit. I'm not going to get too cute. I'm going to take Jared Goff. And then I have so much Pittman, even though I think he's a good pick. I think I can afford a little bit more volatility. I think I'm going to mix in Stribling here. I think so. I might regret pushing running back because there are some good options here, but we're going to trust that Gibbs, Bucky, and Rico help me out. and it's fine there. But I'm going to be strong at receiver. Whiteout gets strange in BBM these days. QJ's going 63. Carnell Tate's going 72. Let's mix in Stribling, despite him being like way cheaper. I definitely don't have a team like this. I do not have this combo. So let's just get it in. Basically, I would have drafted this exact team just with Ricky Pearsall previously. So I've just transferred my faith in Ricky Pearsall over to Stribling. He's the youngest. He's probably the healthiest this season. And maybe they really rely on Debo a lot, but Stribling should play very well. He should. You'd think so. But what's up, Hulk Smash Potatoes? Hashtag nice to enter the ticket giveaway. How we doing? Anthony's in here. Mr. Mufasa says, 45 watching. Hit that like button. Appreciate that, Mufasa. Thank you for holding it down. But if Levis plays, Tate could win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's just believe in Brian Dable's coaching. Cam Ward can hopefully just improve week over week. It's going to start off rough, but let's not write off the 4th overall pick that quickly, right? In general, you want to trust Ohio State receivers. Let's have some confidence. To take him from the 101 slot is definitely unique. Like, because otherwise the only way you're getting him is if you pull him up at 49. And there's no way I'm doing that. So I might not be the only one to do it, but it's pretty rare to have a Gibbs Carnell Tate team with Tate at 72. It's not that common. That's for sure. But I'm glad I took a quarterback there. I definitely needed one. With JMO and Gibbs, I think it's just nice to just lock it in. Give me the stack. I'm committed to the Lions. And now I have to get fewer things right. It's more of a consolidated parlay. The Lions are good. That's the main bet. And that's a very easy bet to transpire and work out. But what's up, Disbanded? Nice to see you. Appreciate that. Yeah, we are one win away. We will hold it down. We will be playing in the finals on Monday. But bless me for the Herbert passer. I know, right? Go Horns had Lad McConkey. Not going to let Herbert come back around to him. Good for you. The QJ pull-up does not lead to a snipe. But lots of room for a few more likes if y'all don't mind. He deserves it. Appreciate that, Devin. That's very kind of you. Very kind. But Aaron's in here. Haha, I didn't have a glove, so it makes me feel... Yeah, at least you didn't have the glove. Like, to overcommit, be that adult that brings the glove to the game, and then actually have the lob, the softball, instead of, like, the home run swing that's coming in at... I don't know. How fast would a home run hit to the bleachers come at you? Because it's being hit at like 95 miles an hour. To drop one of those is much more understandable, but at least you didn't have the glove. At least it wasn't all laid out for you and you just shit the bed. It could have been worse. It could have been worse, my friend, but it is what it is. Kyler falls. I could take Kyler unstacked. Baker is here. Shuck stacks up, though. I think I'm going to bring in Shuck. And then, despite some concerns that it's less of a committee than people think, I kind of want a Keaton Mitchell team. Like, every now and then, I kind of just want one. I'm going to have one here. I'm going to do it. Don't have a lot of Bucky. Don't have a lot of Keaton, but willing to mix it in. Willing to try for it. I could still see a world where, like, Keaton Mitchell has, like, 8 rushing touchdowns, even while Hampton has, like, 20. Like, literally, that's what happened 3 years ago in Miami. Raheem Mostert had 21 total touchdowns in only 15 games. Devon Achane had 11 touchdowns in, like, 12 games. And then there was also a couple touchdowns for Salvon Ahmed. The Miami Dolphins backfield combined for 34 total touchdowns in 2023. The Chargers backfield can possibly top it. I think there's a world where, even though I love Omarion Hampton and think he's going to crush, he could still just coexist in this backfield. It's also possible. So I'll mix him in randomly, but there is some risk factors on this team. There's a few picks that feel shaky. At least we have Gibbs. So like it starts off strong. It feels like it can tolerate a little bit more risk. But the Carnell Tate selection, the Bucky Irving selection, the Stribling selection, and then as much as I like Tyler Shuck, with no Tyson or Kamara, that might be a little shakier than expected. So there are some question marks on this team I've built. I don't know if this is like the safest team I've ever constructed, but I think it's competitive. I think it's interesting, and I think it has a shot. We have Gibbs at the very least. We made Jiri happy. Let's go. Jiri's in the house. We were live earlier with him. If you have not subscribed over on Jiri's channel, I highly recommend. Awesome live streamer, very sharp takes, phenomenal drafter who's had success on Underdog in the past. Also, shout out to the Fanspeak Network. In case I forgot to mention, subscribe over on the Fanspeak Network. You can catch the replay on my Best Ball Jeopardy win last night. Not going to spoil it too hard, but we are in the final. You can see how it happened. Also, the first hour was really dope. Herzig versus Neil Orfield. It was a star-studded semifinals last night, and it delivered. It was a very good time. But QJ has always gone in the 60s in Pepper Tony's drafts. He's been the one that price enforces on QJ all the time. But no cap, Mac is in the house. What's up, boys? Good to see you. But yeah, I think at the 6-7 turn, I'll just take it. I think with Tyson losing all the value off the injury, Mekhi Lemon feeling weird with his injury, there has to be some rookies that do show up. Like typically we do need rookie receivers to have a shot at winning this thing. So maybe it's all just on the back of Stribling, Denzel Boston, or one of the late guys, but I'm not fully sold that the only rookie receiver that can hit is like Cyrus Allen or something. I don't think that's the case. Whoa. I kind of wish I took Purdy at this point because Debo almost made it back. My tight end one's going to be Juwan Johnson here stacked up. I will just do that. I really need tight end here. So I'm going to take Juwan Johnson. I wish I had 3 picks because honestly, I kind of want to go with Daniel Jones and like Keenan Allen right now. I kind of want to just do that. But I think this is a team that can use 3. And I'm going to take a shot that this lobby, given how hard they passed on Tate, just lets him free fall. So I'm going to leave him alone. And I'm going to bring in Tank Bigsby. Shit. Oh, no. Oh, thank God we got it. I felt like my computer was lagging on that. I thought I queued up Bigsby and wasn't there. So had to hit the draft button. But we lock it in. We're good. We're good there. Juwan Johnson stacked up with Shuck. That makes the Shuck pick feel much better. Obviously, a little questionable with the Tyson situation, but Olave is destined to crush. And paired up with Juwan Johnson, we fully justify that selection. But a reminder, hashtag nice in the chat enters you for the free ticket giveaway. We'll be spinning the wheel on a Drafters main event right after this BBM. But Smokers Haven, check out that lunar eclipse. That is tonight. Can you see it at the moment? I'm actually going to take a look. I forgot about that. Let me come right back. I'll be back in like 45 seconds. Probably less. I don't think the moon has risen beyond the trees for me to see it yet, but I will take a look at it later. I am a moon junkie. But we are pro astrology on this channel. I caught a home run barehanded once. Shit hurt. Not gonna, I know. I have a feeling the like excitement that comes with catching it might, the adrenaline might kick in, but I feel like there's a world where that would be really fucking painful. But just man up, lock in, get that shit down. But if I had dropped a home run, I wouldn't have felt as bad. At least you didn't spill your beer. That would have been the trifecta. Having a glove, dropping a lob pass, and also spilling your beer. That would have been brutal. But obviously, an A-Chan's gonna suck with full caps. Tell us how you really feel. But Who Hame's in here? What's up, fam? If y'all have not checked out Who Hame's, also a good friend of the channel. Fantastic live streams here on YouTube. On the road to 1K. Subscribe to Who Hame's if you have not done so. We'll be joining him on Tuesday for our weekly episode. We'll be back on his channel Tuesday, assuming everything stays according to plan. But obviously, and Chargers don't have Prime Tyreek or Waddle, but the Chargers are going to be nasty on offense. They don't need Tyreek or Waddle. They got all they need. But yeah, at first when I saw Chargers, I thought maybe you're going to talk about Josh Jacobs, but Chargers. Gibbs could definitely score 20 touchdowns, 100%. Good evening, Bukowski. Nice to see you. Welcome in. #nice for the giveaway. But Olave and Pickens are so safe. Volume quarterbacks throwing to them. Yeah, they feel like locks in this range. Very, very safe picks. But back on the board in just a couple selections. Let's see what we got. I almost want to push Cam Ward again. I almost want to try it. We'll see if the beast takes him. He goes Hunter Henry. I would have been really happy had I gotten Hunter Henry. That's a bummer. Let me take Barner first. I'm gonna go AJ Barner. And then I kind of need some receivers. I'm going to go Devon Vele. I'm going to push Cam Ward. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it one more time. I think at this point, he's just in true free fall, and like it's possible that no one in this lobby wants him. Like it's totally possible. There's going to be the Wandale drafter to be concerned about, but I literally am not going to be surprised whatsoever if I get to 192 and Cam Ward's still there. If Tate fell to me at 72, then this lobby's completely out. Wandale at 129 is also a fall. So Primo Pasta has Mahomes and Stafford, but that is the only team I think would even consider it. Every other team looks like they're completely out. At some point, the price just becomes so valuable, you never know what'll happen. It's possible that the beast with only Hurts and Bryce Young says, you know what? I'll just take Cam Ward at 194, 191. You know what? This is super late. I'll just do that. But like, I think I can still get him. Like, if anything, I might be able to get him in the last round. I doubt it. I don't think I'll get Cam Ward 216. But look, we're already at 176. He's still not off the board. Read the room. Let's see how far he can go. But how much did QJ 65 yards versus practice squad players affect your ranks? He moved up like 2 spots. No, I'm still keeping it all the same. Any given week, any Charger can hit. But Cam Ward does officially go at 177, so not going to fall all the way back. I guess he probably played that right. Icky only had one quarterback with Bo Nix. Might have been interested. But I thought it was worth it. Worth pushing. If anything, just Goff and Shuck might just be fine. But obviously, and QJ is a beast, but just expect inconsistency, so play him on right weeks. Yeah, he'll still be kind of a headache at times. In redraft, it'll be a little more difficult to know when he's going off, and you kind of just have to start him every week and hope for the best. But in best ball, that's not a problem. You don't have to worry about it. In best ball, it's much, much different. But Anthony got his free BBM today with 2 hours left. Was there a promo going on? I might have missed it. I'm not sure. If I did miss it, that's a bummer. I don't ever use the app. But that's where all the promos are. I've been drafting a BBM lately, so that's kind of a bummer actually if that's the case. I'm looking it up. I don't quite see it, but maybe it was something you had to claim. I'm not exactly sure. But shit, I'm really far behind on the chat. I gotta lock in. Smoker's Haven. The moon is nearly gone here in eastern South Dakota. Okay, so it is visible at the moment. Maybe it's just where I'm located. There's a big hill in this direction, and that's where the moon usually rises from. So the hill with a bunch of trees. This time of night, it's not shocking that I don't see the moon. I would have to walk down like a block or so to be able to catch it. I'm not going to do that, though. While we're live, no need to do that. I guess I'll just bring in Mendoza. I think I'm fine with that. I think I'm done at running back on this team. But I'll go Mendoza just to get some points in. I think I just need some points. And then one last receiver here I think doesn't hurt. I'm starting to buy in on Chris Bell a little bit. Even unstacked, I think it's fine. Yeah, I'll take Chris Bell. Looks like he'll be healthier than expected. And someone that's much lesser owned in this contest, so let's just mix him in. I love the talent prospect when he was coming out of college. I liked him a lot. It was just the injury concern. I was like, I'm not sure if he'll play this year, but I really like Chris Bell. So let's hope for the best. Maybe a late season play, but we have early season points with Vele. We got some values on Cardinal Tate, and I guess that's it. But I think we have a good enough group up top where, like, as long as they hit, we're not really counting on these late ones too much. So if he does work out, if we do get some touchdowns out of Chris Bell, we're going to be in good shape. But Ladd, I say 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think 1,107 is a reasonable expectation, but there's a world where he goes like 1,350 and 12. It's also possible. But A. Sandy, great performance on Jeopardy the other night. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Honestly, great performance with this beard. I am jealous of this beard. I cannot grow as luscious of a beard as that. Congrats on that performance. But Jesse's in the house. You're indeed. Olave or Pickens in half PPR? I think I would go Pickens in half PPR, but it's very close. They're both going to get a lot of volume. But last season, Olave was like so consistent from a volume standpoint. He was one of few players that I think only 7 receivers, including tight ends, throughout the entire league last year to have 100 receptions. And he's more of a full PPR play. They're both great, but that's my stance. I think in half PPR, I think I would go Pickens typically. But both very good picks, both very strong. Anthony liked the draft we did with Nez yesterday. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was great getting to know Nez and meeting him for the first time. I guess technically we met him a couple weeks ago on Jiri's channel, but that was only like for 2 minutes, much different. And obviously, Best Ball Jeopardy, we were competitors. So nice of him to come on the stream afterwards and had a blast with Nez. Hopefully we can see him again. And someone at the end of the stream, I wish I had thought of this sooner. Nez and Blunt should have been the title of that video. That would have been a good title for that video. But you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you miss the opportunity. But Brock, who should I pick at 5 in my PPR redraft bros? At 5, I think JSN's perfectly fine. If you want Amon-Ra, that's fine too. If you're not afraid of the Niners and their injury situation this year, then you could go with Christian McCaffrey. But I think JSN at 5 and full PPR is totally reasonable. I think that's fine. That's probably what I would do. All right, here I think I'm going to take my third tight end, and I think I'm going to backstack with someone that is not that commonly drafted. I think I'm going to go Michael Mayer on this one. From what I've read, they're going to run a ton of 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight end sets. And while Mayer will be blocking a little bit more, he will be factoring in. It sounds like, other than Trey Tucker, they don't really trust that many receivers there. So I'll go Michael Mayer. Might be worthless, might be a really bad pick, but with Mendoza, we have a little stack going on. And what if Bauer just gets hurt again? Mayer would be on the field a lot, and he would deliver. He'd be a good streaming tight end. It sounds like he's playing well in this new system. So hoping for the best there. It's a weird pick, but last pick of the draft, always going to be a tough spot. Drafting from the 101, other than getting Gibbs, is actually kind of tough. But I think we found a way to make it work. We have a really strong receiver room on this one. Very balanced, fun room at running back with some big upside swings. And then despite quarterback being maybe a little cheap, a little average, not much rushing upside, but we could just have like 2 guys that finish top 12 in total points. Tyler Shuck might be really valuable because even without Shaheed last year, he was averaging like 19 points per game in his last 5 weeks. So even without Tyson, I think Shuck could still be a good value quarterback. I think he's okay, but my quarterback room feels a little bit gross. Tight end feels fine, not elite. Receiver and running back, though, feel great. So the flex spot is covered. And that's kind of all that matters every week. I have a lot of week 8 buys, though. I'm noticing that. At receiver, I have 3 of them. But in week 8, we can just start Pickens, J-Mo, Carnell Tate, and our running back room is full. So week 8's not big enough of a problem to be concerned. Here's a full recap of this team that I just drafted at the 101. We took, let me bring it down a little bit. Jared Goff, Tyler Shuck, Mendoza, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Rico Dowdle, Keaton Mitchell, Tank Bigsby, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Jamison Williams, Carnell Tate, Dejon Stribling, Devon Vele, and Chris Bell. I will say, if I had Cam Ward in this team, I think it would feel even more gross. So I'm actually grateful that I don't have it. We just got the big fall on Carnell Tate, and hopefully the market was wrong in this lobby. And hopefully that just carries us through to the BBM finals. Hopefully Tate is actually much better than this lobby thought. But running back feels very fun. I see the path at running back. Tight end is fine. This team feels fine. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it feels fine. It feels like it's okay. Can it finish top 2 in this lobby? We'll find out. But I don't think it's a bad team. I think it's just a little weird. But Lumpsky's in here. What's up? Yo, how we doing? How many entries do we have so far? We have 30 people with hashtag nice in this drawing. So if you want in, we're going to hop over to drafters in just a minute. I got some team reviews in this one to get done, but we will definitely be giving away a free ticket in the next 30, 45 minutes. I promise you that. I'm leaning JSN, nervous about CMC this year. I think if you're nervous, just trust JSN, Brock. Just stick with what's a safe play. But Avi is not afraid. Avi would do it. Gotcha, Go Horns. I missed it. That's a bummer. I did not notice it. It is what it is. But gotcha. Yeah, I know you have to opt into them. But yeah, JSN could totally have a great season just like last year. He's a very safe pick. There was a promotion. Great to find out this evening. Love that I'm finding out today, not when it happened. But that's just on me. That's my bad. What's up, K-Space? 95% covered in South Florida. The eclipse is in full swing. The sky looks much darker. I'll tell you that. It looks pitch black, actually. Let me check again. Yup, I saw it. I saw it. Just barely over the trees, but I just saw it. Hell yeah. Would I get rid of Genty for Achan? At the moment, I think I'd rather have Achan at the moment. But yes, good call, disbanded. Let's do that. Let's do that. Good call. I'm jealous of everyone who has the free BBM. I'm very jealous, but gotcha. Season long 82 for Olave. I mean, he could get hurt, but if he doesn't, that'll hit. That would hit on the over for sure. Gotcha. But the Iron Throne officially edited the video. Probably will have it go live tomorrow. Yes, that's faster than I would have thought, Ruben. That's awesome. That is excellent. Love to hear that. Very excited for that. But I like the draft, even if weird. Thanks, Barry. I appreciate that. It could be a little bit better, but it's not bad. But yeah, we got Paulino. Nice. All right, let's take a look at Game Tight's team. He pulled up Achan. We got to take a look. Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, and Malik Willis at 142. Nice fall on Willis. With Achan, why not just take the discount? So quarterback is great. Running back has Achan, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Chris Rodriguez, Brian Robinson. A lot of floor plays, but trusting Achan. I don't like it there, but if that's what your heart says to do, man, it's your money. Use it how you want to. Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers, BTJ, and Jacoby Myers, the double stack with T-Law. Very nice. Jacoby Lane with Lamar, Caleb Douglas, and Rashad Bateman. Pretty nice stacks down the stretch. Only Malik Neighbors is unstacked. Everyone else is on either the Ravens, the Jags, or the Dolphins. Might have too many Ravens and yeah, you might have too many on the same teams. There's a bit of risk there, but Loveland, Dulcich, and Freiermuth, this team is just a big bet on the Ravens, Jags, and Dolphins. If that works, you might get lucky, but your team will be defined by if Achan pays off or not. That's really what it is. But yo, T coming in with the $10 super chat. Tea time, Tyler. Sounds like a golfer. Love that. Hey, bro, did my 12-man 2 days ago. Can I get your thoughts? Lawrence, you got Hampton. Perfect. ETN, Dowdle, Chris Rodriguez, and Keaton Mitchell. Like the handcuff and redraft. That's not bad. Coleman as well. So a pretty deep, solid running back room. Pretty balanced with Hampton, ETN, and Dowdle. Rodriguez, a really good floor play as just like, you know, on the buys or whenever you need it, just fill it in. You have 3 week 7 buys, but I don't think that's a problem. Receiver room has Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Parker Washington, Cortland Sutton, Casey Concepcion, Caleb Douglas, and Kraft. This is a really good team. I like this one a lot. I will say maybe a backup quarterback could be in your future. I think that could be the only dilemma where it's not that Lauren's going to be bad, but might be a little inconsistent from week to week, but could also just be an MVP candidate this year. So I don't mind it. That's kind of the only thing that stands out to me, but tight end looks great. Receiver loaded up top. If you're right on Parker Washington, then you are set for the season. And then Sutton's a good depth piece. Running back is very deep. You can always play the waiver wire for that second quarterback, and you don't need a backup tight end when you have Kraft. So very good team. I have no complaints here. I think it's a really balanced, really good approach. And whether this is full PPR or half PPR, I like the team. I can't point to really any problem area for you other than that week 7 bye with running back, and that's really not a problem at all. So good team. Very good team. Nice. Hashtag nice on that one. Yeah, very good team, Tyler. Who else was in here other than Gohorns? I think that's it, but Super Beast was also in here. So Keith and Gohorns we'll get a team review. We'll do Super Beast going in order. At pick 7, he has Drake May, Baker Mayfield. That's fine. Kyron, Tony Pollard, JCM, Woody Marks, Tyjae, and Malik Davis. A little bit scatterbrained, a little bit weird, but Pollard at 90, I would have scooped up too, especially as your RB2. You kind of just need someone. And then JCM might not pay off, but could also really hit with high upside. So it's a fine pick. I don't love Woody Marks myself. I don't like that you have both Titans running backs. That feels not very valuable, to be honest. Like, unless Pollard just gets hurt, I don't think ping-ponging weeks in the Titans backfield is that productive. So it's a bad team. I don't want both. I think that is not that inspiring. And then Malik Davis might not actually be above Jaden Blue. He could be, but I don't know for sure. Malik Davis is a pretty meh. Last round pick, it's whatever, but I think running back is a little shaky here. I'm not the most sold on this running back room working out. Puka, A.J. Brown, elite with the top 2. A fall on Egbuka and Parker Washington. Romeo Dobbs, Jalen McMillan, and Kayshon Boutte. Pretty solid stacks with Brown and Dobbs, Egbuka and McMillan. That's pretty fun. You have Kraft, the top 5 option. Cade Otton, very average, low upside floor play, but just get some points there. Nothing wrong with that. And then Gunnar Helm, whatever. These last 2 tight ends are not the most inspiring, but my tight end room isn't that great myself. At least you have Kraft. That's kind of all that matters. You just need one of them to figure things out any week that Kraft just doesn't show up, which won't be that often. Other than an injury, Kraft was just wheeling and dealing last year. So, yeah, running back I think is scary. Receivers, interesting, but pretty good. And then quarterback is, you have May. So there's no complaints at quarterback. It's just a weird running back room. Very odd running back room. But Tea Time Tyler with another super chat. I really appreciate that. It's full PPR. Yahoo gave me a D+. I'm super high on P-Wash this year. Got Garrett Wilson in the 4th and Lawrence in the 12th. It's just something about Parker this year, man. Yeah, that's the big bet on your team. And Parker Washington is one of those big polarizing players. If the Yahoo ranks aren't sold on him, then that might lead to the D. But I kind of see the projections from the website hating your team as like a big badge of honor that like you actually drafted a really good team. Like anytime I draft a team on ESPN and they have that little like projections on like where you're going to land, like, you know, the stock watch of everyone. So often I am given like 10th out of 12, last place, bottom 3 team on those projections. And every single year it's hilarious to see the green line of like, oh yeah, he started at number 9 and then he finished as number 2 going into the playoffs. Like the projections never have an accurate depiction of what's going to happen. If anything, the projections hating your team is a good sign. I like the team. Like I said, quarterback could possibly be a problem, but I don't think it's big enough of a deal in a 12-team league where you can't just work the waiver wire and play some matchups. Very good team, in my opinion. All right. Good luck, Super Beast, with the running back room. Last team review is Go Horns, and then we'll enter the main event. Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Rodgers. That's totally fine. Kyler at 132 is really nice. Love the fall on Kyler there. An elite playoff schedule, so great value. Saquon, Travis, Quinshon Judkins at 61 is pretty sweet. Gainwell at 109 I still think is the better click in Tampa, but I took Bucky on this team. We'll find out what happens there. And then Emmett is one of the more valuable handcuffs at the moment, especially with an early foot injury on Ken Walker. But Jefferson, Ladd, Romadunze, Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, Trey Harrison, Tyquan Thornton, fantastic receiver room, all up the board here. Very good picks. Kelsey at 133, great faller with the bring back against the Chiefs. Love the Kelsey pick there. Schultz, 157, phenomenal. Tight end 2, one of the best you can find. And then you're a Kohler Vortex person. I'm more Njoku, but I did click Kolar in BBM last night just to mix it up. I get it. You might as well try it. Good college stats, but it's either really good or completely worthless. It is the last pick of the draft, so who cares? Good luck with Kolar. It stacks up at least. But I love the Kyler fall with Jefferson. That's a gift. Really good team here from Gohorns. He also got the gift on the Herbert selection, the QJ drafter pass. Man, Gohorns scooped up good value tonight. Good for him. Another banger from Gohorns. He'll be at the top of this lobby if I had to guess. Unless Saquon gets hurt. That could be the problem. That's kind of the only way this team doesn't work out, in my opinion. I think the Saquon injury, whether it happens or doesn't, might decide this team's fate. But all right, good luck. Let's move over to drafters, though. Let's move over. The main event only has 1 out of 12 currently in this lobby. So I'm going to join the fast draft. I'm going to do it right now. I will hit there's 10 more spots. If you guys want to join this drafters main event, come on down. I'm going to hit the countdown, but join at your leisure.
Nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, rank up, inhale, exhale, points rail, nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, victor, inhale, exhale, points rail.
Y'all are showing up. 3 more spots. What's funny is the person that was waiting in this lobby probably has never seen it fill that quickly. Like, sometimes the drafters take a minute. They probably entered and were like, all right, maybe I can step away because this might take a long time to fill. But we got 9 people to enter, including myself, really fast in just 15 seconds. Y'all are ready for this ticket giveaway. So we will see what pick we get, but I'm not sure exactly which pick we will do it. Let's see how many of y'all have entered the giveaway. 38 entries. Hashtag nice in the chat. Another reminder if you guys want it. There are currently 66 people watching. Just for the sake of time, we already have 38 people. I don't think I'm going to make you guys wait forever, because if I say 166, that extra 20 minutes or something, who knows? You might, back-to-back 101s? Holy shit. What's going on here? I will be at pick 72 and 73, round 6-7. At the 6-7 turn, we will pull the giveaway. We will spin the wheel. So enter if you dare. 39 entries so far. We are giving away a main ticket event. Main event ticket, pardon me, at the 6-7 turn. But very fun. We get the 101 in back-to-back streams. Let me adjust our settings. On drafters, I move down here, because the board is implemented to the main screen. I don't have to pivot between the board and my picks. We're on the clock here, and in the main event, I will just take Gibbs. If one of them can drop a 50-pointer, it's Gibbs, and that might carry him to be the best overall guy. But let's get to it. I imagine most of y'all are watching, but we are letting everyone know in the chat. We are live on YouTube at Nice and Blunt, just in case there's a rando in here. But we start off with Gibbs. That's a good omen. Very, very good omen. Whoops. Let's show you the board once again. Let's see. Where was I in the chat? There were the super chats from Tyler. Tea Time Tyler coming in clutch with some gifts. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you very much. But good evening, Charles. Philip Rivers in the chat. What's up? Football season is upon us. Herbert with a 65-yard touchdown. Very nice time to be alive. But the Kolar Express, all aboard the Kolar Express. What a username. Love it. C U CIURI. The projections are always hilarious. Yeah, all due respect to the folks that do the projections, like, Mike Clay is probably one of the smartest guys in fantasy football and like an excellent resource of information. But week in, week out, I fade his projections so hard when I'm on my ESPN teams. Like, there is no way I trust the projections over my own instincts every week. Like, the projections, in my opinion, don't mean shit. If you don't have at least one play in your starting lineup that is full fading the projections, I think you're not doing it right. I don't think you're playing fantasy football the right way. If you just look at the Mike Clay projections on ESPN and say, oh, well, this guy's expected to do the best, I will stick to that up and down the board. Most of them it'll be right, but you need to have at least one. You need at least one play every single week that's just like, nope, I'm right. This is gonna happen. This guy's gonna outperform what everyone thinks. But Hulk Smash Potatoes. Unfortunately, my home league is on ESPN, but the team with the lowest draft grade has won 3 of the last 4 championships. I know it's such a badge of honor to lose the draft grade on at least ESPN. I don't know as much about like Yahoo. I've never played on Yahoo, to be honest. But on ESPN, at least, it's so hilarious. I actually like their interface, to be honest with you. I hate their rankings. I don't use their information, but I actually like the app, to be honest. The subscriber league, the Blunt League, is on ESPN. It's an auction league. We will be live streaming that on Sunday. But CIURI, I won back-to-back chips in a league where I had similar rankings, definitely not a metric to obsess over because they are often weird in how they rank teams. By the way, I probably don't need to spell out your name. I'm just going to say Surrey next time. I think I'm going to say Surrey. If that's not the right pronunciation, let me know. But Surrey is probably the right way to say that. We are on to the 2-3 turn. We mentioned we will be drafting at the 6-7 turn and then spinning the wheel on that free ticket giveaway. But why are the ADPs so out of whack on Drafters? On Drafters, it's a completely different format. Season long main event, it's total points. It's different than it is on Underdog. And then there's also full PPR to take into account. It's also a full PPR format. So I wouldn't say the ADPs are out of whack. If anything, I would say Drafters ADP is even more sharp. If anything, it's tougher on Drafters than it is on Underdog. It is sharp as fuck. Having Gibbs is such a luxury here because double tapping receiver feels so strong. And wow, London makes it back to me at 24. I mean, it's not a huge fall, but still, London here, definitely. And then we mentioned it on the last one. Olave is even better in full PPR, had 100 catches last season. So I will double tap Olave and London at the 2-3 turn. That feels very nice. That feels pretty good. The main event, I think, is going to be tougher to draft the shipper at this time of the year. I don't think it's impossible, but I think you can do it. And if anything, maybe drafting on the website back in like May, June, early July might have been the best values. But you also have the more legit information. You can draft a sharper team. In theory, more of your picks in different rounds are going to be more correct this time of year. So drafting at different times of the season, building out a portfolio differently has its advantages, but the mindset shift at this point of the season got to be a little bit more plant your flag, and possibly just having the luck of like which spot on the board does play a factor. But let's shout out everyone who made this lobby. I have the 101. Matt Forte, 55, is at the 102. I believe Matt Forte drafts with us on Underdog as well. Maybe I'm wrong. But Super Beast Keith got the 103. K-State got the 104. Hulk Smash Potatoes got the pick 5. Rotisserie Rob at 6. Jay Pring just took Javonte Williams. Pepper Tony is on the clock. He has JSN Derrick Henry, and he is taking his time. But behind him, Harry Ham, Go Horns, John Tara, and Game Tight closing out this lobby. They will be picking right after Pepper Tony, who is using all 30 seconds. Really thinking it through here. Goes Jalen Waddle. Shocker. He goes Jalen Waddle. What a surprise. What a surprise from Pepper Tony. Would have never guessed that. We drafted him 3 times in a row. Would have never guessed. You were just always going Waddle, apparently. Sandwich between Go Horns and Game Tight. No value for me tonight, says John Tara. This feels like a very sharp lobby. I'm not going to lie. This feels like a very sharp lobby. Having the 101 in this feels really valuable, to be honest. I hope I don't get boxed out later, but I'm glad I pulled the 101. I'm pretty happy about that. But Sauce God, what's up? You're hitting the hashtag. We are 4 clicks away from spinning the wheel. Hashtag nice to enter the free ticket giveaway in the Drafters main event. But notice the windows eventually. Which guy are we talking about? I don't know. Hashtag nice. We got A Sandy. I'm about to fall asleep. Well, if you can last just like, I think 7 more minutes. That would be my guess. About 7 to 10 more minutes. I think we'll spin the wheel just in time. But yo, Hartman's in the chat. What's up, Hartman? Caught your live earlier. You were talking about Josh Jacobs. You took Jacobs in the 3rd round of the 14-man Iron Throne League. How are you feeling, Hartman? I'm curious how you're feeling about the Josh Jacobs situation right now. But Crispy Betts has entered the giveaway. So has Hartman. Yeah, Matt Forte is a legend. I remember having Matt Forte on my first ever fantasy football team when I was a senior in high school. I had Matt Forte, Richard Mendenhall, and Arian Foster. I also picked up Alfred Morris. His rookie year, Alfred Morris off the waiver wire, week 1, was electric. That was a league winner. I was able to start triple running back, even though Mendenhall wasn't that great. I won that league. That was a fun time. I had Ben Jarvis Green Ellis on the bench on that one. Traded him for Jordy Nelson midseason. Also had Victor Cruz. That was fun. But Mike McCullough is Matt Forte in the 2-hole. If only it was the real Matt Forte. But a great homage to a legend. Matt Forte was even sick on the Jets. Speaking of LaDainian Tomlinson, also another Jet. Not going to take Jacobs here. I think I'll just scoop up a running back. I'll go Dave Montgomery. Not going to use the full clock. I'll go Parker Washington. I definitely don't have a share of him on drafters, so why not? I'm at the 101, get a little bit different. Pulling up players is the name of the game. Jacobs doesn't feel like the right pick, in my opinion, there. So I'll just get the current Lion starter, the former Lion starter, and we'll go Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, get Sonic and Knuckles back together. We are 20 picks away from the giveaway. Around the next turn, we will be giving away our free ticket. Stick around. I think it's in the next 5 minutes. But if you read something and you don't understand it, you should just assume it's from something you said 10 minutes ago. The weed makes it a fleeting concept. You know, like there's too many things to reference. But that is what I assume. I just don't know what it actually is. This won't be the last time you will be asked to last 5-7 longer. That's what she said, Harry Ham. That's what she said. Never felt better. Don't release the video, please. I'm on my knees praying. The Jacobs, the Jacobs in the third was kind of bold, but there were several bold picks. There were a lot of bold picks in that. Yeah, any player on the Jets gets worse. It's not a place you want to go. But Game Tight did take 4 running backs in a row, setting up a green log with Achan Hampton, Swift, and Travis Etienne. Hashtag nice. We will be spinning the wheel very shortly. At the moment, we have 45 entries. So it keeps going up. Your chances are still more than 2%, but they are dwindling. I will say, though, they're probably higher than you think because very often the first person that wins it when we spin the wheel is usually not here. That's been the most common thing that's happened, actually. But Hartman, my hate for Kyron blinded me. At the end of the day, you just want the Rams backfield. I think you just want the Rams backfield. But I'm pretty happy with what ended up happening for myself. I'm pretty happy with my team. I could use probably one more running back. There's one pick that I took a receiver. I probably could have just taken a running back there, but I felt like I was reaching on everyone and just getting up a safe play ended up working out the best. I am referencing Michael Pittman. I look back on my draft and think maybe I should have taken a running back instead of Michael Pittman. But I think my starting roster will be grateful to have him. I think so. The Pittman in Pittsburgh, I think will play well. But the live chat over on Drafters is popping. Most of y'all are watching, though. But Jacobs is in free fall. Jacobs is really in free fall. This will be interesting because it's season-long total points, but at some point he will come back, right? So I don't know what's going to happen here. But I might have a decision to make on Jacobs if somebody else doesn't make it for me. But knowing he's still available, I'm glad I did not take him at the last. I did not take him at 49. He goes 67. He could keep falling, but I think I would not have passed on him at 73. I think I would have taken him at the 6-7 turn had he been available. So not sure if Rotisserie Rob is watching, maybe talking about him factored into the decision there, but Jacobs at 67, definitely the lowest price I've seen. He is less valuable, though, in full PPR. I do think he's not as safe of a pick in full PPR. Drake May goes. I would have been really happy to get him. Not expecting it, though. He goes at 70. That's a great pick for Super Beast. And then Godwin goes off the board at 71. That's kind of interesting. I will take a running back here. I'm going to take the bet on Brooks. I think I will go with Jonathan Brooks. And then for the second straight draft, I think I'm also going to take Carnell Tate. Jonathan Brooks, Carnell Tate. What's crazy is that Wan'Dale Robinson has an ADP of 81, and I'm taking Carnell Tate at 73. But I'm going to trust that they have to see what they got with the 4th overall pick. So I'm going to take him. We will draft Carnell Tate and then spin the wheel. Let's go for it. You've had plenty of time, no time to waste. We are spinning it. Who will get it? Our winner is DJ Quill. No way. What a fun what a fun outcome. Was just talking about inviting DJ Quill on the channel earlier. So if anyone can make the most out of this, DJ Quill has proven she knows what she's doing. Let's go. DJ Quill. The only caveat, you still got to be here. If you're still here, you get to claim it. But she was, there we go. There we go. On the Eclipse. I believe it's the same, but I'm not sure if 3303 is included. Just drop your username, DJ Quill, and I will get that all set for you. Excellent. No way. DJ Quill won 2 free tickets. Yo, that's crazy. That is wild. Because 1 out of 45 is not easy. Something in the air. The Eclipse. Doing its work. Quill for life. You got it. You got it. Anything can happen, Go Horns. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Anything can happen. But 1 in the survival, 1 in the main event. Couldn't be better for DJ Quill. Happy Eclipse. But Bukowski just watched the Iron Throne teaser video. Looking forward to it. I know, so am I. It's going to be a really, really fun time. But Pepper Tony says, I passed this guy Flowers and Lamar, and he snipes QJ from me. Unreal. Why are you passing on Lamar and Flowers, Pepper Tony? Why are you doing that? Oh, no wonder you took such a long time to take Waddle. You also could have taken Flowers. That's funny. That's pretty funny. But Jacobs went at 58 in his BBM. I was going to take him at 59. He goes 67 in this one. I think when you approach the long turn, it has to be a really big choice. You know, like you're going to have 2 picks. I look at every draft as like a series of 2 picks usually. It's not just this pick, but it's also the next pick around the short turn or at the, you know, you might be double tapping like I am from the 101. The draft is really a series of 2 picks. And when you have to wait a very long time, there's so many variables to account for. It's best to just get your guy there. On the short turn, I think it's best to take not just the best value, but also the guy that you want the most that you don't think will make it back because of the nature of the other teams next to you. Every draft is different. You got to read the board. But part of that is like, well, if I give the drafter at the bookend 2 chances, they probably just take him. They probably do that. But Harry has done 115 drafts in here, 0 Jacobs. Good for you. I should look at my Jacobs exposure. It is not high. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not high. I regretfully took Jacobs over Kenneth Walker back in late March on Candyman's channel. Man, if I could go back in time, I wish I could just have taken Kenneth Walker back in on that draft there. I remember I passed on Bijan at pick 2 because we got him in the first draft of the night. Yeah, I remember there was a draft on Candyman's channel. I regret some early round choices, but that was the pre-draft. There were things that we just didn't know at the time, including Kenneth Walker's landing spot. I probably need a quarterback here, at least 1. In terms of total points, I think Bo Nix is a great pick. So even unstacked, I'm not going to care. But I should probably take Goff with Gibbs. In theory, that's probably what I should do. I will do that with one of these picks. Kyle Pitts is here. JCM is here. Addison is here. I have Bo Nix in the queue. And because I'm at the bookend, I'm legitimately afraid of just not getting him. So Peppertoni's going to be pissed. But he has Daniels and Herbert already. He's going to be fine. I just want total points. I don't need the stack as much in the drafters contest. It's just total points. And Bo Nix reliably gets me 300 points every year. I'm going Jared Goff and Bo Nix here. And if I only draft 2, I think I'll be okay. But in general, in the 20-round drafts, I'm always drafting 3. I waited on quarterback in this one, and I took 2 that I think can finish top 10. And at least I have the stack with Goff just to lock that in. But it's just not as valuable on drafters, in my opinion. It's just not. But Bo Nix, just a really good floor play. Season-long total points. He will be worth it. But let me catch up with the chat. Yeah, congratulations, DJ. Quill won the ticket. But Game Tight talked about it on Hartman's stream. Jacobs' range of outcomes, no suspension to never playing again if Rice-like video surfaces. Yeah, if the garage video is really as bad as it possibly could be, who knows? But yeah, appreciate you staying up for the giveaway. It's currently 1 a.m. on the East Coast, but totally worth it for DJ Quill. Pepper Tony has Luther and Snice Me Herbert over Caleb stack. Yeah, there may have been some jealousy, some revenge factored in there. But on drafters, the stack just is not as critical. It's still, I think, a good play. I stacked up Goff with Gibbs. I think it's still a legit play, but it's not the most critical thing in the world on drafters, if you ask me. But let's hide the ticker. We don't need the scrolling hashtag nice down below anymore. We've given away the free ticket, so we can get rid of that. The banner on the bottom. I think I could have gone Kyle Pitts there, and it would have been a really strong play, but I'm not really sold that Pitts is actually worth this. Like, Pitts, I think, is a much better pick on Underdog than he is on drafters. Because the way that Kyle Pitts delivered last year wasn't on season-long points. It was just 1 week where he went absolutely bonkers and nuclear. And that was just like a weird fluke game where, like, I don't know why Kirk Cousins dominates the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well as he does, but he just has their number. And that's what happened there with Kyle Pitts, who for some reason plays insanely well in Florida. He did go to Miami. Or, no, he was a Florida Gator. Don't think he was a Miami Hurricane in college. But he does not play in Tampa Bay during the playoffs. So if that doesn't happen again, Kyle Pitts isn't a good pick on Underdog. And then if he has the same season as last year, other than the one game, like, I don't feel great about it because he's not dropping 40 again. He might go for like 30 one more time, but he's not going to drop 40 points. There's no way. So betting on Kevin Stefanski might be the only saving grace for Kyle Pitts. But I could also envision a world where he's just not very good. And in like the weekly ranks, he's not cracking like my top 12 very consistently. I could see a world where he's just like, yikes. Never worth it. But this is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what to make of the Mekhi Lemon fall, but there's some good picks here. There's some options. At least I'm going to get someone I like. Dobbs goes. I would have definitely considered Dobbs, but the Drake May drafter took him. Totally legit. Yeah, this contest is total points. The week to week one is the survival. I think I'll go Debo and Makai Lemon. Lemon probably is healthy enough fairly quickly, but once he's on the field, I think he will be worth pick 120. So I'll do that, and then Debo Samuel at 121. An interesting mix of someone who went way later and someone who went much higher. But at 120, that's a pretty big discount on Makai Lemon. So we have Cardinal Tate and Makai Lemon from the 101 at big discounts. This is interesting. This could be terrible, though. There's a world where it's not very good. But let's remind you the full roster here. I have Jared Goff and Bo Nix, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Jonathan Brooks. Drake London, Chris Olave, Parker Washington, Cardinal Tate, Makai Lemon, and Debo Samuel. Not drafting a tight end yet. That is a factor to keep in mind. I will possibly go for 4 of them because I've waited a very long time. And I don't know what to expect the rest of the way. I don't draft on this website often enough to know exactly what will happen. But so far, the receiver room is very deep on a full PPR format. I like having some teams like this. We are trusting Gibbs, the breakout for Brooks, and Montgomery just stays healthy, and Woody Marks is not as involved as some of the rumors would indicate. But in terms of total points on quarterback, even without a stack on Bo Nix, I'm still feeling pretty good about my 2 quarterback combo right now. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. But I think I can remove this poll. I realize the poll is also up. Let's get rid of that. But 49 people watching, 43 likes. I appreciate y'all for showing out tonight. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. If you are enjoying the stream, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And if you want to catch more of my content, you can subscribe below. And if you're already subscribed, you can also ring the notification bell to make sure you catch every time I post new content. We will be trimming down on the live streams once the season kicks off. Once we hit week 1, it'll be much more back to strictly, like, maybe not strictly, but mostly pre-recorded, edited content. And until then, I would like to edit more, but sometimes it's just a little bit too time consuming given the rest of my schedule. So look out for other videos. We posted top 12 running backs earlier this week, and there will be more over the weekend, but a lot of you have already drafted. So sometimes the ranks don't actually matter as much this more. I think what would be very valuable is an injury update video this weekend. I think that's the plan. I think I'm going to do a full review of the entire NFL and their injury reports. I think that's probably a smart move. Now that we are at the end of the preseason, there's only practice reps that can get in the way of guys being healthy. But clearing this 3rd preseason game, I think, is pretty important. And then we'll check back in. But on a weekly basis, those injury report check-ins on Saturdays have performed very well last year. 100% I'm keeping them. And the waiver wire is active in your redraft leagues. If you've already drafted, you can use the waiver wire. So I think that's something to look out for this weekend. I'm going to scan the NFL and their injury reports, and we'll give you a concise breakdown all across the board, not just offensive players, but also O-lines and even defensive players. Things to keep in mind. 1 pick away. I still don't have a tight end. What does Matt Forte do? Mike might snipe me. He goes CJ Stroud. He only had 1 quarterback. I think I will take Jake Ferguson here. I think that is a good way to start off my tight end room. And then I'm going to look at running back again because it might dry up soon. That could happen kind of quickly. Yeah, I'll mix in Tyjae Spears and Jake Ferguson in the 13th round. Jake Ferguson at 145 feels pretty solid. I kind of feel like he's a little overpriced going at the 12-13 turn. I kind of feel like he's more of a stacking play that's more so injury dependent. I do not have George Pickens on this team, but despite not being as committed to the Cowboys, I still think this is just a great value. And I'm definitely more in on Ferguson than I am on Andrews. I will say that Andrews kind of scares me. Hyper touchdown dependent, and if he just doesn't give you 10 touchdowns, then he's not a very good pick. Like even with 8+ touchdowns, I'm not as sold that he like outperforms Isaiah Likely or even Juwan Johnson. Like he has to score a lot of touchdowns, and when he doesn't, you're not going to feel great about him in the lineup. So I'm not fully out on Andrews, but I think one of the main selling points for him is more so an underdog, where in week 17, he has last year's best matchup for the tight end position. Last year, the Cincinnati Bengals surrendered about 26 touchdowns to the tight end position. It was well over a touchdown per game to opposing tight ends. So if that repeats, if they're just even like close to the bottom of the league or like literally the worst again, then of all tight ends to maybe trust for a touchdown in week 17 might actually be Mark Andrews against the Bengals. But on drafters, that doesn't matter. In the main event, it just doesn't matter. It's not a week 17 isolated incident. It's a season-long contest. So I'll go Jake Ferguson, and we'll bet on a lot of volume. And maybe we get lucky. Maybe there's another injury like there was to CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens last year. And if one of them's off the field, Ferguson dominates. Ferguson gets like 12 targets a week in the event that somebody gets hurt. But Pepper Tony reminding us that there is a weekly payout structure as well. There we go. Yeah, why draft weekly winners when you can just draft in the main event? But looks like any given week, I'm trying to find it. I don't quite see it here, but let's go back to the draft. Oh no, I'm blinding people. Oh no, shit. Dark mode was paused for a second. I don't know exactly what the weekly prize is. Thought I would see it, but didn't quite notice it there. Maybe that incentivizes stacks a little bit. I think if anything, that possibly keeps that a factor where, like, if you are going to win the weekly winners prize in this, it's probably thanks to something like that where you stack the right team and the right bring back matchup randomly. Like, you know, it might be a crazy nuclear game in division, but I feel like to win in that type of setting, you got to get pretty lucky. I think to draft with that as your plan, I think is pretty naive. But you never know. It might work out for some people. But Harry Ham saying 24 Striblings teams in drafters, ADP 150. Nice CLV. I hope he's just a good pick. Sadly, I had a lot more Pearsall than Stribling. But Hartman, I heard something interesting about the tight ends that succeed with Stefanski being more short area yak guys, where Pitts is more like a middle to deep winner. So the fit might be as good as hoped. Interesting point there. Valid thing to bring up. Yeah, I'm not totally sure what to make of Kyle Pitts, but typically he does not pay off his draft capital. Typically he's never been a good pick. Hunter Henry here, I will scoop up. I think with Schultz off the board, TJ Hawkinson goes above him. I'm definitely Hunter Henry over TJ Hawkinson. And then here is just a question of, am I taking a quarterback or not? Because I could also just pivot to running back. I'm going to use my time. I'm going to use all of it. You go in auto after you time out, so make sure you get out of there on drafters if it happens. I kind of want to take Charbonnet, but on drafters, I don't think it's as valuable. Tight end, I'm going to push one more round. I don't need receiver as strongly. I think I'll just take quarterback. I think so. I'll just take Rodgers. Just get the floor play. I've ignored stacks on this team. So maybe I should have gone Rico Dowdle over Brooks. Maybe I should have taken Michael Pittman over Bo Nix. But hindsight 2020, I think in the moment, just from a floor standpoint, it's 20 rounds on drafters. I want the third quarterback. So I'll take Rodgers. I'll take Rodgers. But K-Space in here with the fire emoji. How we doing? Welcome in, sir. I think you checked in earlier, but good to see you again. DJ Quill with the prize breakdown in weekly. The first place gets 5K, second 2K, third 1K, and so on. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, there's only how many entries in this contest? Like less than 30,000, if I'm not mistaken, or is that the survival? No, there's over 100,000 entries in this one. So yeah, it's the chances are still slim, but if you can do it up to 10th place, yeah, that is an accomplishment any given week. That's something cool. A little cherry on top for the prize structure. I wouldn't count on it to happen, but if it does, you know, just even better. In that case, for 5K, it's probably worth stacking a little bit more. Maybe this team is not as well built to take that down. But I'll be honest, it doesn't really factor into my strategy. Maybe it should more. Now that I know that, I'll think about emphasizing stacks a little bit more, but I still need to build a good team, and I'm more interested in the grand prize for the season-long total. So I think that's what's driving me for the most part on how I built my teams here. But I'm still getting used to this format. I will say I don't feel like I'm as sharp here as I am on Underdog, just because I'm so much more experienced on Underdog. I followed that ADP all year. And this one, I kind of just joined and hopped in randomly since like 5 weeks ago. Like I want to say around July 15th, that's when I first signed up for drafters. So I think I may still be getting my feet wet in terms of understanding how to play the board, and perhaps which pick selection I get is a big factor in my success rate. Perhaps that's something to keep in mind. For, you know, consider where you stand compared to the rest of the lobby as well as the rest of the field. Because at least in this one, it's not just your pod that you have to worry about. In the draft, obviously you care about the pod, but once the draft is over, we don't care as much. It's every man for himself. Best team wins. But 112K field, yeah, way, way bigger than something you would expect. If it happens, you're just thanking the Lord, the fantasy gods, for blessing you. But I have 5 picks left at 192. The pickings are slim. I'm glad I mixed in Tyjae Spears there because I think he's more valuable in full PPR. And just having him for depth purposes feels valuable on this one. This is kind of a strange team. If I like really need running backs here, there is not much left. I could go tight end and I think I will unless Matt Forte snipes me. He goes Kate Otten. I'm gonna search for upside. I like Fryermuth though, and I do have Rogers. Maybe I should get the stack. I kind of want Kenyon Sadiq though. I think he's actually a really good play here, but I'll go with Fryermuth on one of the picks, and then with the second one, some strange vibes with JCM, just slightly. I'm gonna go Katron paired up with the Fryermuth stack. We'll get our Steelers combo and then go Katron. Let's hope that maybe we do have a shot at the weekly winners because Rodgers and Fryermuth just go nuclear. They have 2 games against the Bengals, the best tight end matchup possible. Last year, we saw Fryermuth drop a 20-pointer with about 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. He went crazy against the Bengals last season. That shootout against Flacco was a barn burner. Maybe we get another one this season. But if you can take it down, the weekly winners cherry on top does feel very, very nice. Are we doing another one? We can. Yeah, I think I have time for another one. But how aggressively high are you taking Lloyd? That's a good question. GL Zaya. Where did he go in this? He went 122. I think that's valid. I think that's fine. Same round as Keaton Mitchell. Kyle Monangai went right behind him. Kyle Monangai, not sure if I would pass on for Lloyd, but I think it's fair to take Lloyd where he just went at 122. I took Mekhi Lemon and Deebo Samuel instead. Maybe I should have done that myself, but I really wasn't thinking about it. I'll be honest, I wasn't quite thinking about it. But no, I mean, like, how high are you getting before reaching on him? Gotcha. I mean, I'm a full bowl deep, and I didn't take him. So I think that answers your question. If anything, being high is easier to forget about him. If anything, it's going to be less likely that I take him just because I'm like, he's not on my radar. I'm not used to taking him there. So if anything, that is like a negative correlation type of thing. The higher you are, the lower you expect Marshawn Lloyd to be taken. You're still operating on like, August 10th ADP mindset where Lloyd isn't even taken by pick 180. That's probably what's going to happen in that scenario. But speaking of which, I think I might pack the next bowl because we will stick around for one more, but I'm also going to drop a poll. I will ask you guys and get your opinion. Which contest are we drafting in next? Third draft, a survival, here's the thing. If I throw out the puppy, you guys are 100% just taking the puppy. The puppy always wins when it's one of the options. So maybe we look for something else. What are the drafts available? The puppy, the field general, the first quarter. I guess it has to be one of the options. It only makes sense. I'll throw out the field general, though. Let's see what you guys think. The survival contest, the puppy, or the superflex? Which one? I will pass on the Scott Fishbowl. I think I'll pass. Don't think I'm going to take a tight end when I have 3, even though I kind of waited for a while. It is kind of tempting, but I think I'll go Pop Douglas as one of these picks. I might be sniping somebody, but I think I'll do it. I need to get back in at receiver eventually. I only have 6 of them, so I'll take Pop Douglas. Get out of the auto pick mode. I think I'm going to queue up Torrey Horton as well, but one more running back is also not the worst choice. And I just do this consistently. I'm going to do it here again. I'm going to take James Conner at 217. I'm going to take James Conner. He might factor in with the Cardinals. He also might get traded. It's possible that the LaFleur brothers have a handshake agreement that James Conner will be a Green Bay Packer. It's also possible that that happens. If Jacobs is that bad, James Conner, I think, factors in a little bit, but I go crazy with Conner on drafters. For some reason, I just can't help myself. I think I literally have him at like an 80% rate on drafters. I feel like he's on every one of my teams. He's on my 14-man Iron Throne League. He's on that team. I assure you that. He was my last pick on that team. But I know a man can dream, Hartman. A man can dream. Hulk Smash says, I wanted Lloyd. Even if Jacobs isn't suspended, I think he gets a worthwhile role. They have to kick the tires on Marshawn Lloyd. He has not played anywhere near enough to know what they have in him. And if they can move off of him and just trust him, they would absolutely do it, given how serious this Jacobs situation might be. But John Tara says, Field General GL Zaya wants a puppy. I imagine the puppy will win, but always worth checking. But yeah, if I didn't min cash in the Badge Bros Brawl last season, maybe I would be willing to donate this in the Scott Fish Bowl. But what I view the Scott Fish Bowl as, you ever go to like, what's a place that does this, like a national chain? Okay, this is a good example. Let's say you go to Panda Express, and at the end, would you like to leave a tip for for charity? You're not giving your money to charity. What you're doing is you are giving your money to the company, and the company is then pledging that money as their charitable donation. But what they are using it for is their own tax break. And so I think it's actually a legit public stand to not fill the Scott Fish Bowl. Let Underdog front that bill themselves. That's my stance on it. Maybe I'm cynical, but I genuinely believe that's just a tax break thing. That's all I believe that to be. But Keith the Big Shooter wants a BBM. We already drafted a BBM, and then we did a main event. I'm limiting the budget, Keith. Tonight, I'm gonna limit the budget. But yeah, I will not speak on that again. But I said what I said. Two Mules says, for me, it has to be something on drafters. That's fair, but yeah, speak this into existence, Hartman. I need more minds on board with this James Conner thesis. Yes. Speak it into existence. Manifest it, as they say. Trey Benson just actually got released, though. Yeah, but he's like the equivalent of Marshawn. He's played just as many snaps as Marshawn Lloyd, basically. They've both been terrible to stay on the field. I don't know. I feel like Trey Benson is in the Caleb Johnson bucket, where like sometimes these teams are just missing hard, and like there is nothing there. But Trey Benson is hurt. I saw he had an injury designation, says Hartman. He's never healthy, I'll tell you that. Whenever he's had a chance to be the starter, like instantly he gets hurt in practice. Like it's crazy Last season, James Conner got hurt in week 2. Trey Benson got hurt in week 3. Trey Benson started week 3 and didn't make it to halftime. Trey Benson is just as injury prone as Marshawn Lloyd. But let's see. With this last pick, I have a 3-6-7-3 brewing. I think I want the 8th wideout. Yeah, wide receiver 7 is Pop Douglas. And we have Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon on this team. I'm going to go with receiver here. And Torrey Horton made it back. Torrey Horton was who I kind of wanted at the last one. That would make some sense. We could go Elijah Surratt. I still think Surratt could also contribute. I have 30 seconds to think it through. I could go Ricky Pearsall if I wanted, or Jaden Higgins, of course. I actually think John Mechie might factor in Carolina a little bit. But 5 seconds left. I will go with Torrey Horton. I will stick with Torrey Horton. Touchdown maker. Let's hope for that to repeat. Let's see. But he's not actually hurt, though. Trey Benson will get hurt. That, I think, is a safe bet. Apparently, he has to do like an injury settlement thing. I don't know what that... Oh, for his release or something? His contract you're talking about? That would suck, not to get your money. But, all right, let's review this roster. Let's see what we got. 3-6-8-3 from the 101 with Jared Goff, Bo Nix, and Aaron Rodgers. I think that's totally fine despite a lack of stacks. At least on Bo Nix. That one is missing. But running back room has Gibbs, the 101, David Montgomery, and the bet on Jonathan Brooks. That is critical for this team, I think. Maybe Montgomery carries me, but I think Brooks is really what sells this team as one of the best or not. Who knows? But Brooks also CLV a factor in this contest. Possibly a team with Brooks wins it, and it's not mine because they got him at like 120 or something. But Tajay, I think an interesting play right now. More valuable in full PPR and not that many touchdowns in the Titans offense. So who knows if it's really worth it at all, but it's possible Brian Dable uses him just as much as Tony Pollard. Katron, JCM a little banged up. I'm still willing to mix in a few Katron shares, but I have a lot of them, so might be just digging the grave even deeper. And then speaking of that, James Conner is on every one of my drafters team. Once I hit round 19, I always take James Conner here. So wish me luck on that. But if I'm right, that's what sets me apart from the average person. My round 19 swing on James Conner, perhaps. But receiver room feels goated up top with London and Olave. That will be a great starting lineup. Whoever else hits my lineup, I think that is a great weekly start. But Parker Washington is either totally worth this, even higher possibly, maybe a third-round pick type of value, and he crushes, or he's just terrible and, you know, everyone that took him is just sent to the graveyard as well. But the fall on Carnell Tate makes this kind of a wash. It's like we reached on Tate just a few picks and got Parker Washington to fall 3 spots about 2.5 months ago. But the Mekhi Lemon at 120, that's a legit discount. I don't think anyone in this contest is usually getting Mekhi Lemon at 120. Maybe I just don't draft enough to know that for sure, and I'm wrong. But that sounds like a great value on Mekhi Lemon. Debo, I think, is just a good pick there. Demario Douglas, I think we don't need these receivers 7 and 8 too much, but with Booty leaving, he's the slot receiver. He'll have some random touchdowns, have some few games. He'll hit the lineup maybe 3 times, and same with Torrey Horton. I think I get at least 4 touchdowns with Torrey Horton. Jake Ferguson at 145 was a nice 9-pick slide that comes in clutch. Hunter Henry at 168, also pretty valuable. And then Pat Freiermuth stacks up with Rodgers. But I'm not as sold that he's a better pick than Kenyon Sadiq there. I kind of think I should have still taken Kenyon Sadiq, to be fully honest. I may have made a mistake with Freiermuth, but we remembered the weekly winners aspect and we wanted the stack. I'm not totally sure if that was the right call, but Two Mules saying, as a Packers fan, 1967 and having 18% Lloyd with average ADP 201, does hoping Jacobs get suspended for the season make me a bad person? it's a financially savvy standpoint. It's your bags would approve. So I think you've already made your stance. I think you've already said how you feel about that. But what's up, Hetzer? Nice to see you in the lobby. Connor with an ambiguous warning. Yeah, the eyes emoji. Okay. We'll see. But we have some members in the chat. I don't think Matt Forte, Mike, is this Buddy Man? Are you a member, Matt Forte, 55? I would appreciate if you confirmed yes or no. I know that Keith is, so I will skip to Super Beast. But let me know if Matt Forte 55 is a member in this lobby. But Connor with a super chat. Who's the best tight end handcuff? I don't even know if that's a thing, but Mayor Tonjes, what's some sleeper holds? I think Tonjes is very valuable, especially if you have the starter. If you have Kittle and Tonjes, the problem is you're not going to know when Kittle goes down, so you will have some bad games like that. But the next week, you could probably just pick up Tonjes off the waiver wire instead of rostering him. I do think he's great as a tight end handcuff. Legit pick in best ball to just take the Niners tight end one with both. I also think Mayer's kind of interesting, but needs an injury to Bowers. That's the same argument for Tonjes. That's where I look to David Njoku, who could just hit regardless of injury. Njoku might actually be the tight end one, and he goes at handcuff tight end prices. He goes undrafted a lot of the time. So that, I think, is a factor. Njoku, one of those Chargers tight ends, could win the league. But, yeah, this is probably the more likely outcome. Hartman, I think, is probably right. So I think you're probably okay, Two Mules. You're probably all right. But Super Beast drafted Drake May, Kyler Murray, and stopped. I think that's okay, but I prefer the 3 quarterback builds on drafters. I might just be naive, though. Jeremiah Love, Bishal Tootin, Bucky Irving, Jordan Mason, Jonah Coleman, and Emmett Johnson. Pretty legit running back room. The riskiness of Jeremiah Love and his high ankle sprain, but still really talented and probably a legit pick. Still probably worth it. Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison, Romeo Dobbs, really nice group of 5 there. Adonai Mitchell, Jawan Jennings, and Troy Franklin. So the double stack in Minnesota. Adonai Mitchell might be great. He also might be kind of worthless, but Mark Andrews, Greg Dulcich, Parkinson, and Njoku. Speaking of, Njoku did make the cut on this one. So 4 tight ends with 2 quarterbacks. Andrews is your first. I think you did wait long enough to do it, but feels a little shaky and might just need the 3rd quarterback. But I think you're going to be okay. As long as Kyler does hit, this team has a shot. And running back has a few outs to being really bad, but could also be great. Receiver feels phenomenal. If anything, I might prefer another quarterback over like just AD Mitchell. I think just swapping out AD Mitchell for a quarterback might make me a bit happier with the team. But if Drake May is just the guy you need, you could just be fine with that. But solid team, Super Beast. Appreciate the thank you and the $5 super chat. Very much appreciated from a member of the Blunt Rotation. A reminder, if you are a member of the Blunt Rotation, you lock in a team review every month, every time you draft with me for a month. Speaking of which, there's Game Tight, there's Jontara, there's Go Horns. And then Pepper Tony, you're a moderator. Are you also a member? This is the question, Pepper Tony. You are a moderator, but are you a member? I'm unaware. It only shows up as with the wrench. I'm not totally sure. But Taysom Hill is the top tight end hand cuck. Yeah, Evan Ingram could absolutely get cucked. But Taysom Hill would be the play. But I know this is not true, Pepper Tony. I know this is not true. But Hartman says, I think Komet could be a good backup tight end if you. Yeah, that's a very legit call there, Hartman. 100% agree with Komet. But Game Tight took a 4-5-8-3 with Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Shadur Sanders, and the Massage. I don't like the Massage pick whatsoever. The Browns quarterback play, he got desperate. Running back, Devon Achane, Omarion Hampton, Swift, Travis Etienne, and Tyler Algier. Very, very solid with that. Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas Jr., rather thin, pretty questionable. Sutton, Concepcion, Shaheed, Pat Bryant, Travis Hunter, and Jerry Jeudy. Fannin, Strange, and Waller. I do not like the receiver room very much. Unless Concepcion just crushes, Brian Thomas and Harrison have to go back to their rookie seasons. That's the only way this team works. Might have spent a little too much at running back, to be honest. I don't like receiver very much, and it is full PPR. So if running back is just that good, then maybe you do deliver with this team. But I think receivers really gross. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't like the receiver room at all. Jontara with Josh Allen and Tyler Shuck. We have Chase Brown, Quinshon Judkins, Ramondre, C-Rod, Blue, Kimani Vidal, and Samaj P. Ryan. That's fine. I'm not like really sold on it, but it's okay. Some volume late that might just be worthless with Blue, Vidal, and P. Ryan. It's mostly the top four that are kind of average. It's not elite, I'll say that. But Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, Stribling, Trey Harris, Cyrus Allen, Devon Bailey, Zachariah Branch, and Tank Dell. So reliant on a lot of late guys. And then Kincaid and Juwan Johnson. I think the Josh Allen pick might be setting this team back just a little bit. I think it's maybe because I've kind of soured on Jefferson and Garrett Wilson lately. I think those two picks don't make me feel amazing about it. And then the rest of it has a lot of late guys. There are some guys I like here, but I kind of feel like this just won't quite get it done unless Allen just really goes nuclear. Allen can save any team from the depths, but I think the Allen pick, had that been a running back and then had that been a receiver, I think I would like this team a lot more with like the chance to pivot off of some weird picks elsewhere. Like, or you could have taken running back and then instead of Ramondre, another quarterback or something. Like, this isn't my favorite way to put it all together. I don't know exactly why I don't like it, but overall, I think it's a little bit shaky. But I could just be hating on some of these names a little too hard. It's either great or my intuition says it's not. We'll see. But Mike saying hit Forte with a review. You got it, sir. You got it. Baker, Stroud, and Mendoza. That's fine. I don't think it's great because Stroud feels gross. But I'm a big hater on Stroud. Bijan, Kyron, Rico, Lloyd at 122 could be excellent. I think taking him there is totally valid. Bigsby, love it. And then Pacheco at 239. Last pick of the draft, basically. Why not? Why not? So, very interesting. I think running back looks pretty good, especially if Lloyd is just who you need. But then George Pickens, Egbuka, Jamison Williams, Chris Godwin, Alec Pierce, Kayshon Boutte, Jalen Knoll, and Darnell Mooney. Pretty legit. Very balanced. I have no complaints at receiver. You have some late stacks with Stroud, Boutte, and Noel. One of them should have some value, but I just don't like Stroud very much. So doubling down on Houston could just not be the play. But Kraft, great pick. TJ Hawkinson at 167. Totally fine. Shout out the Pro Fanatics. He likes Hawkinson. And then Kate Otten at 191. Very, very solid, but not much upside. So total points-wise, I think it's fine. But there's a world where Hawkinson and Otten just don't contribute. And then if Kraft gets hurt, you could be brutally damaged here. But Kraft at 95 is amazing. A full 13-pick slide on Kraft. That makes this team really competitive. Very strong team. Quarterback scares me a little bit, but I think overall a very strong team. From Matt Forte, there's Go Horns in this lobby. He was in the last one. He's also in this one. But he's telling Game Type that draft going to hurt when Taylon Green wins the quarterback room. Ooh, at some point, they probably kick the tires on him, right? At some point, they probably bench Deshaun by week 3 or 4. And then Shador gets a crack at it, but probably gets benched by like week 12, week 13. Totally could see that happen. Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, and Michael Penix Jr. Penix, a pretty good pick, lesser drafted over the course of the season. Saquon and Breece Hall, Chuba Hubbard and Keaton Missile, Brian Robinson, Najee Harris, Malik Davis. Not exciting. I bet against Saquon quite a bit with my Bigsby investment, so if this is the team you need, I have a lot of anti-stances on these picks. I don't have much Chuba. I don't have much Breece. I don't have much Saquon. I don't have much Keaton Mitchell. I have a lot of Brian Robinson. I've never clicked Najee more than like 5 times. And then I've never clicked Malik Davis myself. So only one running back I'm actually rooting for, and it's Brian Robinson. I never build a running back room like this. But on drafters, maybe the Breece Hall selection is way better in full PPR. Wideout, though, we got CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Denzel Boston, Jalen McMillan, Malik Washington, Jade Walker. This receiver room is pretty solid up top and then kind of falls off a massive cliff. Worthy, I think, is really bad, but you had him at 135. So maybe he just stays healthy and has a lot of touchdowns. That feels very shaky as wide receiver 4, but a big discount. And then you still have some volume, but I hate the Malik Washington pick regardless of format. Even with the discount, I hate it at 178. I think he's pretty worthless. And then Jade Walker could just never score more than like 2 touchdowns and have really nothing else other than that. You have Tyler Warren and Kyle Pitts. That's good, but we mentioned that maybe Pitts is still overvalued. You got him at a 11 pick discount, though. 106 is solid for Kyle Pitts. Yeah, I don't like this team from a player take standpoint, but structurally, it's not atrocious. You may have one too many running back and one too few receiver, but I think quarterback is fine. Running back's weird. Receiver has 2 worthless picks, but totally okay. And then tight end is very solid. No complaints. So kind of just an anti those running back picks. Otherwise, I think the team is okay. But good luck at receiver with Worthy, Boston, McMillan, and Malik Washington. You might have to count on them more often than you think. But I think that's the last team review. If I am mistaken, please let me know. But I believe that's everyone. So I think we will check in with the poll. Yo, there is a tie in the poll. The Puppy and the Superflex, the Field General, are exactly tied at 44%. So we need one more vote to break the tie. We will draft one more. But are we doing the Puppy or the Superflex contest? One vote decides it. There's 50 people watching. So whether you're going to enter the lobby or not, I'll leave the poll up for just a few more seconds. But looks like nobody wants to claim it. There's at least 40 people, at least 35 people that have not voted in the poll. But we have someone taking the reins. Connor overrules the poll results. It took a while, but right as Connor dropped his super chat, the poll was still tied. There were a few votes that just came in for Puppy, but Connor is deciding the fate of our next draft. For $5, it is sold. I am doing the Superflex for the culture. For the culture. The field general it is, fellas. The field general it is. I will be drafting in the field general. If you guys want to join me, we will drop the countdown and you can join us in just a little bit. I'm going to pack the bowl first, just before I forget. I'm going to pack the bowl. Was looking for my ashtray, but found it. Don't join just yet. We're also going to hit the pipe. But now that we're late into the night, we can probably pop the music just for the sake of filling the vibe. Let me bring the volume down a little bit, but let's get it going. All right. We're on to draft 3, and we're drafting in the Superflex. Thanks to Connor. And we are drafting in 15 seconds, baby. Join. You know when to hit the button.
Nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, rank up, inhale, exhale, points rail, nice and blunt, torch up, nice and blunt, burn up, nice and blunt, big drop, inhale, exhale, points rail.
Let's go. I get the... Yo! 3 straight 101s. This is crazy. This is wild. Let's go. That's insane. I've never had this good of luck this season so far. That's sweet. I am ecstatic. 3 in a row is pretty crazy. Let's get after it. And I could take Gibbs on all 3 drafts, but no. In Superflex, that is not the play. I take Josh Allen at the 101. In Superflex, that is what I'm doing. Haven't drafted in this contest yet. Let's get Allen, the toughest player to acquire. Let's go. Game Tight's right behind me. So is Green Bean, Go Horns, John Tara. What is Football at pick 8? Forey Wayne at the 7. Connor Hill at the 8. Hartman at the 9. AJ Sports at 10. Buddy Man at 11. And Super Beast at the 12. This is a full house. The only one I don't recognize is What is Football and Connor Hill. I think we've drafted with AJ Sports. That's the only one I think is ambiguous, but at least 10 out of 12 are watching. That's pretty dope. Good luck, everyone. 2 out of 12 exit the pod. Good luck. I hope if you do, you also make the final. Someone from this pod should make the final. But Connor says, feel like Kmet, Knox both should still be involved decently in the red zone. How many touchdowns between the two do we see? I mean, it's going to be very much carried by Loveland in Chicago. So I don't really expect more than like, I think best case scenario for Kmet, it's like 5. For Knox, I think even if Kincaid does go down, it's still pretty low. I would say the ceiling for both of them is that they combine for 8 touchdowns. I would say 3 for Knox, 5 for Kmet, and what probably ends up happening is Knox scores like 2 and Kmet scores like 3. something like that. They could both only score like 1. That's also on the table, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But 5 is a pretty good line for them to combine. But Two Mules says, in my utopia, my most drafted player, Sean Tucker, 30%, gets traded to the Packers after Jacobs is released. That would be pretty crazy. The Sean Tucker 30%, it's so affordable. It's not that bad, but it can't be feeling amazing right now. Nice. The main bet was always just like one big 30-point game. So I fell for it for a while. I've definitely stopped taking him for like over a month now. I have not clicked Sean Tucker really ever, but John Tara straight up forgot my first round pick by round 20. Sometimes it happens. Alex Faded says Kmet will get meaningful snaps this year. Bears love him. Had him in the jersey reveal video. Bullish. He might fit in more than expected just because they don't have that many weapons. You know, like at least last year they had DJ Moore, but they didn't replace Moore with anyone. So if Burden's banged up too, yeah, they totally could just use Kmet and Loveland at the same time. Kmet gets paid a lot. It's not just to block, but that's mostly what it is at this point. It's possible he is worth drafting. A very sneaky handcuff play, for sure. The contrarian tight end option. If you draft Caleb, maybe Cole Kmet factors in, but I am back here on the board. I'm probably going to draft a second quarterback, and I could just mix in Kyler and Jefferson. That'd be kind of smooth, but is it correct? I'm not sure about that. I'm going to go Hampton first, give myself a little time to think about it, because I could just wait, try to push quarterback 2 a little bit, but nah, I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to go Goff. Goff over Stafford, very close call, but Goff I think is going to stay healthier than Stafford. If one of them misses some time, it's definitely Stafford, not Goff, so I'll do that. Even unstacked. Sorry, Game Tight, you're getting sniped. You are getting sniped, brother. Sorry. Not sorry, but Game Tight, I do think Green could get starts. Sanders definitely will have a shot at keeping the job, though. It's the Browns quarterback. Regardless, it's pretty irrelevant. I don't want to be committed to any of them for the most part, but Mike's Pacheco pick made me sick, but he needs a couple of double-digit games to pay off there. I think if you get him past pick 200, why not? But for them to be working out Kareem Hunt, not a good sign. They didn't sign Kareem Hunt to a contract, though. You never know. There is the Drew Petzing connection for Connor, but I think the LaFleur connection, it'd be more likely that Connor goes to the Packers if he does move. But, yeah, weird vibes on Pacheco. He's looked bad the last 2 seasons, so I've never really loved him in the first place. But you're welcome, Mike. Thank you for being a member. Hartman is in this lobby. He gets a team review on this draft. But Anthony Richardson, quarterback you need after he gets traded to the Browns. That probably happens. I could totally see Anthony Richardson traded to the Browns or the Jets. Either way, definitely could see that happen. Maybe even the Panthers could trade for him. But Go Horns, this draft was rough, but you never know. Yeah, at the end of the day, none of us actually know what's really going to happen. I can talk as confidently as possible, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of takes that I'm like really, really strong on. That down the line, I'm like, yeah, that was just wrong this whole time. I wish I didn't feel that way all summer. But for the most part, I think some of the things I'm right on are really going to be right, and you got to trust your instincts. That's the only way to do it. But Gohorn says, I think Malik Washington is better in this format with PPR, but also even if he falls off, you get his points at the beginning. Yeah, but last year he had no points really. Like last year he was terrible. He was really bad last year, and Tyreek Hill was out. It's a new regime. I have no faith in Malik Washington. But Malik Davis, a good pick, says Pepper Tony. I'm behind on the chat by quite a bit. But here's the thing. It was sitting in a tie for like a full minute. And then we got a $5 chat to decide it.
Nice and blunt.
Is the music loud too? I can lower the music if it's too loud, but the nice and blunt is kind of shocking. On this website on StreamYard, I can't adjust the volume, so it's just like whatever it's set at is going to be what it plays at. I do lower it on the OBS draft, but we can lower the background music just a touch, just in case. But pulling up Achan, not on this one. We passed for Jared Goff. I like to have 2 quarterbacks by the 3rd round. It's a safe spot. London's still here. I'll take London. Actually, maybe I go Pickens. I'm not totally sold that that's the right choice. But a slightly bigger fall. Actually, no, right at ADP. Really irrelevant. Really irrelevant. Didn't matter at all. We're going to draft a bunch of them, and let's assume we make the final. Let's go Jeremiah Love on this one. An injury to be worried about. Definitely a factor, but pick 49 overall. I'm at the turn, so a big teardrop for who comes back. And if Love just gets healthier faster than we think, he could really crush. So I'll take the swing on him after Travis Etienne goes off the board. That's a good sign, but maybe took him too early. He's not going to make it back, though, so I kind of don't care. We have the 101, so we're going to have to reach on some folks. But sorry if that was too loud. But Blunt living right tonight. I'm glad you think so, Game Tight. The 101s really, really make it feel good. But maybe it is rigged. Who knows? I don't believe so. For the most part, I've had a magnet on pick 8. I have so many shares of pick 8. It's not even funny. So if anything, 3 101s doesn't even get me back to baseline. I was underweight big time on 101s. So it's about time I get some good luck in the 101s. It's not rigged, though. If it had been rigged, I would have gotten a lot more 101s this whole summer. It's just finally fixing what should have been the case the whole time. I was very underweight on early picks. But, yeah, tonight's our night. The Eclipse going well for DJ Quill and yours truly. But Hetzer asking Blunt, how much Devon Vele have you been drafting in best ball? Not that much. Nowhere near as much as Bayou. I have a few teams before he got a little more expensive lately. I've been clicking him a bit more. If I had to guess, I'm at like 5-6% Vele. I don't think I'm too crazy with it. Definitely underweight, but I don't think it's nothing. And then some of those are in the last round, of course. So it's all over the place, but I think it's sitting around 5% if I had to guess. But reach for Malik Willis, game stack. I was hopeful maybe he could make it back, but that was not the case. I do not think Malik Willis will give me more points than Goff, but not the worst play. But rosters with tight ends in the first 4 rounds winning anything has statistically been an outlier year after year. Loveland may break more hearts this season than any player ever in the history of fantasy football. I think in half PPR, Loveland is still a great pick. In full PPR, I think the price I like the most is Tyler Warren, if you're looking for someone elite. Because him, I think, could just be this year's Trey McBride, but same with Loveland. They could both just be insanely productive. That's definitely possible. But, okay. Thanks for the context. Two Mules, not enjoying the background music. Not as big of a fan, but GL says Lance over Vele. I don't think I'm that strong in favor of Lance, but I think he will factor in a little bit. He is very talented. He's a great athlete. I don't know what to make of him, to be honest, but Jacobs goes off the board at 67. If I had to guess, what is football was not watching on our previous discussion regarding Jacobs? Because we saw him fall further. Because even though he went at 67 in the last one, that was a regular draft. It was not super flex. So, like, compared to the running backs that just went off the board, like Montgomery over Jacobs is definitely the play right now. Definitely. But I don't know what game type's going to do here, but I know what I would like. He leaves me Devontae Smith. A nice fall here on Devontae Smith. I will scoop it up. Thank you very much. I will do that. And then also a fairly legit fall on Aaron Rodgers. I'll take both of them, please. I might regret not grabbing running backs here, but I will take my chances that I have one more chance at the next turn to double up. But I think I might double up at the next turn. I'm a little worried what will happen. It's possible that the discounts I just acquired are negated by the structure I'm going to get stuck with, because I'm usually a heavy running back guy in the Superflex lobbies, but as long as I stick to a double elite anchor at receiver, I think I'm going to be okay. But Devontae Smith at 72, I think we're in really good shape, and I fully agree with Hartman on this. Rodgers at 73 is a steal as our third quarterback. Not sure if Game Tight just didn't think I would take him. He took Flowers first. He has Lamar, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with Rodgers as my third quarterback. Even with Allen, even with Goff, I still want a third quarterback. I still think it can help me a lot, and I will take it. We start 2 every week, and you never know. There are some weird schedules. I also know that week 7 for Aaron Rodgers is the Paris game against the Saints. That's Allen's bye, and I think that's actually one of the best games on the slate for Aaron Rodgers this year. I think he's going to go really, maybe not nuclear, but play very well against the Saints in Paris. I think that will be a step-up type of game for him. The Bengals matchups are other spots where he could play very well. The Browns, in theory, could be a good spot for him, but Rodgers is mostly a floor play. For upside purposes, I like Rodgers as a fill-in for week 7. I really do. We've looked at that many times in the past when we've been locked into filling in week 7. Herbert has a week 7 bye, so I've looked this up many times, and I've landed on Rodgers as one of the best value fill-ins. So we could have just gotten away with just Goff, but now I'm just done at quarterback, and I feel like I have a very big advantage, to be honest, because I have the best quarterback in the room, and then I have a really inexpensive third option that might be just as good, if not better, as some of the other teams with a third quarterback. Like Rodgers over Stroud, I think is totally possible this year. I think that could legitimately be a 1-for-1 value proposition. Stroud could definitely have less points than Aaron Rodgers this year. But sleepy time for Pepper Tony. If you're going to bed, cheers. Have a good night. Dream well on this eclipse. But Jacobs might not even play. I hope he does. I have some teams with him, but at this point, I faded him so much, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm going to do? After this turn here at the 8-9, we have a bunch of time. I'm going to look at my exposure. Let's see if I can have a victory lap, perhaps, on Josh Jacobs. But I am about to be on the board, so let's lock in. Let's find out what pick I'm getting. Which player will I select? Mason goes. I think I'm going to take Blake Corum on this one. I think I have to go double running back. I'll go Blake Corum. I've been souring on Tony Pollard lately. I'll leave him alone. I have two very strong receivers, so even with a 3-pick slide on Christian Watson, I'm not really interested. Instead, I will take Corum. And I'll also mix in RJ Harvey. I need some touchdowns here. And let's go in the Rams offense. Let's go in the Broncos offense. Let's chase touchdowns and double tap running back. I think it's critical that I address running back before the cliff. I could get someone to make it back at the next turn, but I don't think that's a lock. Definitely not a guarantee. And with Hampton, I feel strong about it, but Love might not hit the field for a while. Corum and Harvey might not fit in to complement Love's absences too much. Like, if anything, maybe I actually should have taken J.K. Dobbins there. Just because, like, if I miss time with Love, Dobbins hits the lineup early in the season. But I think I'm okay. I think Harvey scores more points on the year. So, not sure if I misplayed that. To be honest, I could have messed up. But I'll go RJ Harvey. I'll stick to the rankings. I trust him more than Dobbins when it's all said and done. But, yeah, the only random did indeed draft Jacobs. If anything, that's a sign that watching this channel makes you a sharper drafter. Or it's just a sign that not watching this channel correlates to negative EV. The only one not watching with negative EV, but Hetzer not touching him with a 10-foot pole. Today, I think that's the right call. Two Mules had some Vele last year. Yeah, I had a bit more last year early on, but I didn't have much either. I've never thought he was that valuable, but it could work out. It could. We will see. But let me check my exposures. I want to see how much money I committed to Josh Jacobs. But Leia's here. She wants some attention. She's tired of the live stream, basically. But this is what I gather, because I fed her quickly before I went live, and sometimes she just forgets, and she likes when I carry her to the food. She's kind of spoiled. But let me bring in my exposures. Sweet. This looks good. This looks nice. Only $75 spent on Jacobs, 4.5%. 14 shares. $75 on Jacobs. That's not much. That is a good outcome there. In terms of my total bankroll, like that's pretty low. In terms of dollars spent, that's even less than 4.5%, if I had to guess. Let me check the pre-draft. Let me check the other one. So that was in the regular season with 308 teams to sift through. In the pre-draft, I think it's going to look worse and at a much more expensive. Oh no, sweet. Yo, in the pre-draft, I only took him 7 times, 3 point. Hell yes. I've been fading Jacobs all summer, all spring, even in the winter. I was fading Jacobs. Hell yeah. Of all the outcomes, this is better than I thought it would be. Less than 4% of my bankroll on Jacobs. Let's go. Yeah, I deserve a victory lap. I'm going to take a rip from the pipe.
Nice.
But I'm also going to take the cat to the food and remind her that she has everything she needs. I swear to God, this happens every day, multiple times a day. She comes up to me and she like complains that she's hungry. And then I just carry her over to the plate and just like drop her down in front of it. And she just instantly starts eating. Like, she refuses to just check. I'm going to go with Chris Rodriguez here, because I worry a little bit about running back, and I want 6 on this team, so I'll take one there. I don't have a tight end yet. I've waited on receiver, but I'm gonna stack up Kincaid with Allen. Let's get a stack going, and I have Kincaid ranked above Fannin, so let's do that. But like I said, I'm going to take a rip from the pipe, as mentioned. All right. This team's coming together. We only have 2 receivers, but we're only starting 2 minimum every week. And this lobby is fading the position pretty hard. Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Rodriguez, Mike Washington, Kyle Monungai, and Rashad White all just went off the board above Cortland Sutton. This lobby understands the value of running back. I feel bad for Connor Hill. The team at 8 has Genty and Travion Henderson, and we just got to the point where Keaton Missile came off the board. His running back room is a little thin. And he goes Addison. He does not care. He is tripling down, took his 6th receiver, doesn't have a tight end yet, has 3 quarterbacks with Kyler, Cam Ward, and Tua. I will say, I'm not that envious of Team 8 in this lobby right now. Only has Genty and Travion through the first 11 rounds. And Woody Marks just came off the board, so yikes. But cheers, Avi. Cheers. I'm on a smoke break right now, but gonna do it a lot more in the winter season. Is there a reason for the tolerance break? Are you you got a job interview coming up, or just taking a break? A break is a solid choice every now and then. The tolerance break always comes in handy. I took about a 10-day tolerance break earlier at the end of last month. Maybe it was the top of this month. It may have been like July 27th to like August 8th or something. But something like that. But yeah, when it's raining or snowing, when it's really chilly and you're just locking in at home, not much better. All right, we got the Kincaid stacked with Allen. Goff unstacked, Rodgers unstacked, but the Allen play is really the main focus so far. Laporta went 108, so never really on the side of the board for me to take. I went Corum and Harvey instead of him, so it just was never destined to happen. But kind of a follow-up, kind of a good value on Laporta there compared to Kincaid, only 13 picks later. I did reach on him, though. I took him over Fannin. I'm at the bookend. I can do what I want. But we did kind of reach. Receiver might make it back to me in a good spot, but I'm not totally sure how I feel about it right now. That is definitely the play. Running back got decimated. Running back is thin. But Golden's here. I'm going to go with Golden. I do really like Goddard, but I don't have that many receivers, and I also really trust Romeo Dobbs. I'm going to take Matthew Golden and Romeo Doubs. I will say goodbye to Dallas Goedert. I think typically I'm taking those two guys over Dallas Goedert typically. And even though he could help me, I will trust that I can get a good tight end at the next turn, and that this is just more of a cliff at the receiver position. And with only 2 up to this point, I think it is a solid investment just to get back in. Not sure what's pissing Leia off, but she's back. She is back. But just on a break for a bit, then you get more bake, keeping good balance. Yeah, the tolerance break does pay some dividends, but am I ever picking Tesla, or is it Short King Summer, aka Greg Dortch? I'm not drafting either of them at this point. I think if I was going to take one, it would still be Tesla, but I'm not really that sold that he will do anything. I think it's really dependent on touchdowns, and it's just not that safe, if you ask me. So, at this point, I've kind of just stopped taking Tesla. If I have Goff, maybe, but if I already have anybody else stacked up with Goff, I usually just accept my fate that, like, nah, that guy will stay healthy and Tesla just won't hit the lineup. Because Tesla is strictly contingent. Based on the camp reports, doesn't seem to be any real, like, role for him. Not quite sure what to make of it, but Two Mules, as I suspected something wasn't right when I read somewhere Jacobs was boasting publicly that he married an OF girl. I mean, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's destined to work out. But, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants. Who can say that getting in between true love is their right? I have no idea, man. But Dobbs should have, if I had to guess, like 850 and like 9 touchdowns. I think that's a more realistic. I would lower the yards and I would increase the touchdowns. That's how I would play Romeo Doubs. He's not going to go over 1,000 yards most likely. He could, but I wouldn't bet on it. I would expect closer to 10 touchdowns. I think 6 is too low for Romeo Doubs with Drake May. Big upgraded quarterback, really good player in terms of deep targets and like efficiency. Doubs is just like a true professional. And Drake May was one of the best deep passers in the NFL. He was insane in that metric. So I think he could be better in the touchdown department. Yardage, I would probably hit the under on 1,000, but totally could hit. Totally could. Wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world, but would have loved Jacoby Lane there. Kind of a bummer we don't get him. I'm just going to mix in Brian Robinson, who I think is actually... No, I'm going to take Ray Davis. I'm going to take Ray Davis with Allen. We're going to stick in Buffalo and lock up a Bill. I kind of want to take Brenton Strange, but that's a second Week 7 bye. However, I think he's just the best pick on the board. So I will just stick with that. I'll take Brenton Strange. And we're taking another one. It just can't have a Week 7 bye. The third tight end will be locked into Week 7. But that doesn't matter. The team is coming together fairly nicely. I'm not worried about receiver at all. Even at a weird spot in the draft with names really drying up, I think we're still in good shape. Quarterback has Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Aaron Rodgers. Very nice. Running back has Omarion Hampton, Jeremiah Love, Blake Corum, RJ Harvey, Chris Rodriguez, and Ray Davis. That can get it done, but I think I need to get a lot of touchdowns out of Corum and Harvey. And then maybe a bit lucky where like Jeremiah Love just comes back sooner than expected. But I worry a little bit that I don't have the early season points to cover him. Like if Corum and Harvey just don't show up in September and Love isn't healthy at all, then my RB2 might be struggling most weeks. And if Rodriguez doesn't find the end zone, I might only get like 5 points there. So that could be the big problem for me in this pod. But we also don't have to start more than 2 in theory. So just having options is good. Receiver room has London, Devontae Smith, Matthew Golden. And then the tight end room has Kincaid and Brenton Strange. We only have to start a minimum of 2 receivers. So I actually think it's fine. I actually think we're in perfectly fine shape with receiver and tight end. But, yeah, the touchdowns for Dobbs could just go nuclear this season. And Golden might see like 115 targets. Golden might be a really strong target play. Maybe even more than that. If you told me Watson got hurt, I think they'd have no other choice but to really go in on the target share with Golden. But I'm not sure, Two Mules. I'm not sure. Leia was scratching the microphone with her whiskers earlier. I don't know what you're referring to, but we'll see. Why did I go 3 quarterback? Because I like having quarterback depth in Superflex. Even with Josh Allen, I don't mind having 3. And I got a good price on Rodgers. I got a full round discount on Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to have one of, if not the best, quarterback rooms in the pod. And in Superflex, that matters a lot to me. Because even though Goff sometimes goes crazy, there's some weeks that Goff also just like doesn't show up. Like if Gibbs goes crazy, Goff doesn't have to play well for them to win. And then there's also some games like against Houston possibly where Goff can throw like 6 interceptions. Goff doesn't have the same track record in the wind, in the bad weather. He's gotten a lot better over the course of his career. I still trust Goff, but like, what if, you know, Amon-Ra goes down? I want the 3rd quarterback, but you just joined. That checks out. Yeah, we would never take Allen at the 101 if it wasn't Superflex. But the chat decided, the chat requested. So we went for Superflex. Receiver, though, thinned out fast. Trey Harris goes, unfortunately. That would have been a nice play. I'm going to grab Pat Bryant here. I think just the safest move. And then I'm going to start thinking about tight end because it is getting thin. Freiermuth got sniped. Damn it, Game Tight. Fuck you. Damn it. That fucking sucks. Shit. I'll go Travis Hunter. Fuck it. 193, Travis Hunter? Yeah, why not? 193. John Tara got sniped by Pat Bryant. At this stage, there's not that many good picks at receiver, so I'll just mix in one that I think is destined to get touches. The volume play, I don't think fits anybody else better than Pat Bryant this late. Like, even Caleb Douglas, who just went to Game Tight, that is not as safe as Pat Bryant. Honestly, I almost trust Pat Bryant for more targets than Caleb Douglas. And that sounds wrong, sounds odd, but that's kind of how I feel. Travis Hunter, let's hope for the best there. But John Tara says should have pulled him up. Where are you drafting? You are from the 5 slot. You have Bo Nix. You took Jalen McMillan instead. Yeah, I think you should have done that. Definitely should have done that. But obviously, Goff is mid. Exactly. Gibbs going to run ball more. I mean, there's going to be some weeks, though, where the Lions' defense is just so bad that Goff has to keep up, and he throws the ball 40 times. That's also going to happen. But there will definitely be some weeks where Rodgers can outscore him. 100%. But it's just super flex. That's the real reason. We wouldn't taken Rodgers with Goff and Josh Allen if this was a regular league. We would have stopped at 2, 100%. If anything, I probably wouldn't have taken Goff. I would have just waited for Rodgers. But I do think it's fine to take Allen and then a very legit value. And Goff fits the bill pretty perfectly. Where, like, you're locking in a lot of points. The randomness of them not showing up, the other one should cover them pretty well. But we have 3 picks left. This team is coming together fairly well. A quick reminder how it's going. Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Rodgers. Goff and Rodgers are unstacked. But Allen has Ray Davis tied to him on this one. Same with Kincaid. I think the Kincaid stack is really critical for this team to have what it takes to win. I would worry about this team if I did not have Kincaid for the stack in week 17, because you can totally tell me that is just the combo you need in the Dolphins matchup. Week 17, Allen goes nuclear and sends like 3 touchdowns maybe to Dalton Kincaid. A hat trick would be phenomenal. And I think that's the best stack to really have with Allen. Like, DJ Moore is good, but he's more expensive and I think a bit more of a floor play because of the nature of the tight end position. I like the DJ Moore stack a lot, but Kincaid, I think at tight end could just be one of the best picks on the board. But Njoku goes, I will say I was hopeful to take Njoku. John Tara sniped me. I sniped him on Bryant. He snipes me on Njoku. Bummer. There's not much left here. Tight end is pretty thin remaining. There's not much left at all. Running back has also gotten really dried out. But what's beautiful is we have around 20 in this one. Tight end here, though, I'm going to take Jake Tonjes. We do think Tonjes has value. At least I do. He had 5 touchdowns last year. In best ball, I will mix him in randomly. And then I might take a 4th in the last round. But what I'm going to do instead, we're going to trust my 6 receivers. And we're going to take James Conner in round 19. Pick 217, James Conner. Come on down. This is the fade on Tyler Algier, and a hope and a prayer that if I don't get points out of Love, I get them out of Conner. That is my insurance policy. I think on this team particularly, whether he goes to the Packers or not, I think it actually might help me to have Jeremiah Love and James Conner. It comes full circle. He is under contract. He might only play 1 snap and snap his Achilles. He may not make it to week 17, but he is under contract. And he is a man that can score like 8 touchdowns. He's been amazing a lot longer than people expected. So I'll mix him. It feels a lot better around 19, but I have him so much on drafters, I might as well mix him in on Underdog as well. But Jordan James goes instantly after him. Same with Seth McGowan. Those 2 guys are also interesting plays. McGowan is a more likely immediate handcuff behind Jonathan Taylor. But This is a fun team. Fun team. I'm not sure if this last pick needs to be a tight end or receiver, though. This I'm not totally sure about, because I could totally still get the bagel week 7. Tonjes, his bye is week 8, so he will be active in theory, but will Kittle be active too? Week 7 could just be worthless for Tonjes, but I think he plays a factor down the stretch, and I think he could just score another 5 touchdowns like last year, but I might just need another tight end. And at this point, like the flex play is more important than the receiver spot, because whether I draft a receiver or a tight end, they can both hit my lineup in 2 different spots, and I think I might be thin at both those positions. So super flex is covered with the quarterback position. We have most likely 3 running backs hitting the lineup every week, most likely. And then receiver, I trust the top 2. If I get anything out of Golden, Dobbs, Pat Bryant, and Travis Hunter, I'm ecstatic. But man, I think I need receiver more than tight end. I think I do. I think even if I get the bagel a week 7 at tight end, it doesn't matter. I could still draft someone here that also gives me a bagel week 7. So I'm not going to overthink it. I don't care enough. I could go Dawson Knox. I could go... Darnell Washington went off the board, but I don't think I'm going to take anyone else. We could go Cole Kmet in theory. We mentioned him. I'll put him in the queue for a second, but only to increase the pressure on this receiver decision. I have to make a good call. I think this receiver actually matters. I think I need someone that actually provides some floor. But do we go with the short King Summer? Do we take Greg Dortch, as Hartman was wondering earlier? I don't think so. If anything, I think I go like Keon Coleman. Take a swing on him. Could also maybe go Skylar Bell. Torrey Horton is an option. I don't see Skylar Bell. Was he already drafted? He was not. I'm going to take Skylar Bell. Let's take the rookie. Keon Coleman was a healthy scratch a bunch of times. And if somebody does have a round 20 stack with Josh Allen, it's more likely in this contest going to be Keon Coleman. So I'll get a little bit different, and I will go with Skylar Bell. Maybe the unique pairing, the scroll down, is the more valid play. We have 2, if not 3 guys that are really random and maybe lesser owned in this contest, with Jake Tonjes, James Conner, and Skylar Bell. But I think I reviewed the team enough where we won't mention it. Maybe I'll get back to it right before I dip. But I think for the most part, we'll just move on to some team reviews. But yeah, the 20 rounds makes it kind of interesting. But Mac Nova in here, always appreciate your appreciation of the night crew. If Skylar Bell is what you need, I may win the big board. What's your exposure to Skylar Bell in the big board? Now, I'm going to check what mine is, because I think I had a decent amount of him too. Oh, no. I only had 1% Skylar Bell in the big board. Not much. My most drafted player in the big board was Jeremy Bernard. I had a little bit more money spent. I had $11 more spent on Tank Bigsby, a difference of 1% between those two. Rico Dowdle, I took a ton, 27% in the big board. I had so much Omar Cooper. Emmett Johnson also at 21%. B-Rob at 20. Goddard at 19. Derrick Henry, 19.7% in the big board. Let's go. Hampton at 18.6%. Rodgers at 19% when he was dirt cheap, when his ADP was 201. Man, the big board was a fun time I had 16% DJ Moore, and a lot of those picks were at like ADP 90. Torrey Horton, I had 19%. The big board was a fun time. I had 15% Laporta, ADP 103. Anyways, let's get back to that draft. Do some team reviews. 16% Skylar Bell pre-draft. Damn. I mean, a good landing spot for 16%. Of all the teams to go to, the Bills got to feel somewhat optimistic that maybe there's a breakout looming with Allen, but who knows? DJ Moore might not let it happen. All right, let's pivot over to the other side of the board. Had Super Beast Keith was there at the 12. Caleb Williams and Tyler Shuck and Shador. Meh. The Shador pick is pretty bad, but Shuck and Caleb, that's all right. Bishal Tootin, Ramondre, Jonah Coleman, Dylan Sampson, Tank Bigsby, Alvin Kamara, Kimani Vidal, and Kareem Hunt. The Kareem Hunt sighting, first time I've seen it. It makes some sense. It would have been better had he left the Lions facility with a contract, but he may not sign anywhere. It's possible that was his only chance. Who knows? But I think a pretty risky running back room. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Tootin, Ramondre, and then a bunch of backups. Your RB3 on your depth chart is the RB3 on his own depth chart. That is a bad sign. You also pulled him up 20 picks. You got desperate. You got boxed out from the 12. So the other bookend did not follow my lead. I like my running back room more than this one, I'll tell you that. Because Sampson number 4 feels terrible. Bigsby is okay at 5, but then Kamara, Vidal, and Kareem Hunt, you're chasing the olds, and then you like the third stringers. That's bad. Bad running back room. JSN, Justin Jefferson, Roma Dunze, DK Metcalf, AD Mitchell, and Berrien Brown. I like that you stopped at 6. AD and Berrien Brown kind of worthless, but the top 4 pretty good. Loveland and Laporta and AJ Barner. You did not need Laporta. Laporta should have been a running back. There it is. Either Loveland or Laporta should have been a running back. I think had you taken Bucky Irving or Dave Montgomery, I think you might like your team a little bit more. You could have also taken a running back instead of JSN or instead of Justin Jefferson. You did not need the double anchor wideout. There were ways to avoid that. I think Super Beast, you needed more running back draft capital. I think that's the problem here. Because the build, the running back depth kind of shows just how desperate you really got. So, hey, if you find a way with this, all the power to you, but this is not how I want to build. In the Superflex, I need a running back sooner than Bishal Tootin is 61. Because if anything, you got lucky with Ramondre. I think you should have double tapped. But that's my opinion. We'll see what happens. Buddy Man, right next to you, took Herbert, Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, and Jameis Winston. Love the Jameis click. The MVP, some rushing upside on interesting fantasy offenses, and then, you know, the prayer, the Hail Mary swing on Jameis Winston. Eat a dub. Why not? Last round, let's get it. Jonathan Taylor, Cam Scatterbo, Chuba Hubbard, Woody Marks, Algier, and Najee Harris. You had me up until Najee. I don't love the Woody Marks pick or Chuba, but on the team, it could be okay. I think the Algier pick is good. But Najee, Woody, and Chuba, it's a mixed bag. I would give this a B. I would give this a solid B, maybe B+. It could be really bad, though, if Chuba was just a terrible pick all along. I don't like Woody Marks that much, so I do find it a little problematic at running back, but the top 2 are just so good. You're probably fine. Ladd and JMO, Quentin Johnston, Jalen Coker, Ryan Flournoy, Malik Malachi Fields, Juwan Jennings, and Jalen Knoll. Probably too many receivers. I don't think you need 8 of them in this format. You really reached on Malachi Fields as your 6th receiver. So I think I would have stopped with Juwan Jennings at 203 if I really wanted him, but I think having another running back would be valuable. Tight end is Tyler Warren, Terrence Ferguson. That checks out. So you can start 4 receivers as well as 4 running backs, but let's be honest, it's definitely wiser to have 4 running backs that you feel good about. And this team can't quite say that. Can't quite say that with this team. Scatabo has to remain healthy for this team to deliver. But I love the quarterback room. It's pretty good. And then receiver has a lot of depth. So maybe it hits the flex often enough where it does check out. But I think maybe the pivot to Superflex might not have been remembered as well. Like, you just don't need this many receivers. That's my take. That's my take. Good luck, buddy, man. Good luck. If you're right on the running backs, it will work out. Quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Bryce, and Mac Jones. I like stacking both Niners together. Purdy's pretty injury prone. Bryce, not a great value at 57. I will say I'm more inclined, if I start off Hurts and Purdy, I think I would more likely pass on Bryce Young and then just get 2 really inexpensive options at the very, very end rather than take Bryce at 57. Because especially in this format, it's not like you've taken Tet McMillan most of the time. It's usually unstacked, so it's just for points. I'm not sure it's worth 57 knowing who else you pass on there. Like 57, I took Rodgers at 73. But, like, you pass on guys like George Pickens. Oh, no, my bad. You pass on guys like Cam Scatabo, Lad McConkey. I think I prefer the flex plays over Bryce Young and stuff. I think that's my personal stance on it. But I understand, just like me wanting Rodgers, you want a third that you can feel okay with. And Bryce does have some rushing upside, so who knows? I think he's going to be much worse this season. But I think the Bryce Young pick, I personally would have done something different. I think I would have taken my first receiver there instead. But that's really the only pick I have a stance against. And it's super flex, so like to take that third quarterback is fully justified. It's like a very nitpicking thing. There's not much to complain about here. So otherwise, it's just a bunch of good picks. Luther Burden, Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, Mekhi Lemon at 129 has to be pretty good. You have him stacked with Hurts, so that's pretty sweet. Downs at 136, Debo at 153, Omar Cooper at 201. Very legit receiver room, so maybe you don't need that extra one. Schultz, Hawkinson, and Kate Otten. Hartman knows how to build teams. Hartman's got a good team here. It's just my personal bias against Bryce Young. That's the only thing that I don't like. And so only one pick. This is a good one. We have John Tara in here. Drake May, Bo Nix, and Mendoza. That's legit. Saquon, Breece Hall, Rico Dowdle, Rashad White, Brian Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco, and Seth McGowan. Pacheco pretty late, so how much can you hate on it? At some point, it has to be he's either so worthless or he's a really good pick. I think at 197, he's more likely a good pick than worthless. So running back room checks out. Quarterback room checks out. Receiver has the stacks with Brown and Waddle. Christian Watson, Michael Pittman, Shaheed McMillan, and Pop Douglas. Tight end room has Kittle, Goddard, and Njoku. I sniped you on Tonjes. You sniped me on Njoku. But the bet on Kittle just staying healthy is also valid. This is a good team. I like John Tara's roster a lot. There's really no holes to mention. Like, not a single pick I think is bad. Maybe Kittle is bad just because he gets hurt, but his upside is worth it. Brees is also... Oh, no. For a second, I thought Brees was stacked. He's not. The only red flag I can think of is Saquon goes down. I think that's the only thing I'd be worried about. Everything else, very good. Go Horns with Mahomes, Stafford, and Penix. We got Bijan, Montgomery, Kenny Gainwell, Kyle Monangai, Sharbs, Jordan James, and Samaj Pirine. With Bijan in a good depth chart, feels pretty solid. You did pull up Sharbs at 148. Felt a little pressure on running back, apparently. But I think he's a fine pull-up. He's not terrible, if you ask me. But he could just miss a lot of time. That's also a factor. Neighbors, Pickens, Rashee Rice, Tyson, Boston, Trey Harrison, Ted Hurst. This is definitely a good team to take Tyson at 165. Yeah, why not? With Neighbors, Pickens, and Rashee, that's pretty sweet. Good fall on Rice at 76. Damn. Top heavy, but good eating at receiver. Trey Harris, Ted Hurst, also pretty sweet. And then Boston, super talented. If you get Tyson back sooner than expected, that's great. But I think you get carried to wait for him. And then if he crushes down the stretch, you might be the only person, one of few teams in the final with Tyson in theory. That could be sweet. Kyle Pitts, Kelsey, and Kolar. We've come around to the Kolar just a little bit. I still don't want it that much, but Pitts and Kelsey, probably fine. Probably fine. So a big stack with Mahomes. Good team. The Penix combos too. And then Stafford just randomly there for points. That's fine. Good team, Go Horns. As expected, a very good team. Did we look at Game Tight? I don't think we did. Game Tight took Lamar, Kirko Chains, and Carson Beck. The early season late round guy, and then the late season late round guy. Good luck, but that combo might be okay. I think it is very thin, though. I think I might want 4. If you tack on a Jameis Winston or a Joe Flacco, I think I like this a little bit extra. But Devon Achane, Travis Etienne Jr., Javonte Williams, Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Mason, Marshawn Lloyd.
Nice.
You're very deep at running back, as expected, with those quarterbacks you should. Receiver has Amon-Ra, Flowers, Harrison, Lane, Caleb Douglas, Devon Vele, and Bateman. Kind of falls off a little bit quickly. I'm kind of anti-Marv, but Amon-Ra and Flowers are the only two that have to be in the lineup because your running back room is so deep. So it's fine. Tight end room has Fannin, Andrews, Freiermuth, and Ingram. I would have taken the 4th quarterback, not the 4th tight end. That's how I would have played it. I don't think you need Ingram here at all. Either Ingram goes, Freiermuth goes, or Andrews goes, but I don't think you need 4 tight ends. Given how you address quarterback, I would have taken another one. For dirt cheap at the very least, I would have taken quarterback instead of Evan Ingram. That's just me. But you took Ingram a little early, actually. You could have had Jameis. You could have almost had... oh, no, that's not Mac Jones. Mac Jones went 232. That's Jacob Strand. That's wild. I don't even know if that's his first name. I just assumed that Jay Strand was Jacob for some reason, but I have no clue. Mac Jones went 232. I think he'd be more valuable than Ingram. I think any 4th cheap as fuck tight end here, and I'd like it a bit more because Lamar does get hurt. If anything, give me Tyler Huntley, his backup. All right, I've spoken my piece. That's every team in the lobby. That's all the team reviews. I believe it's everyone, unless Green Bean is a member. I don't believe so, but let me know. I'm going to take a rip from the pipe, catch up with the chat, and then we'll dip. But if you were in that lobby and I missed you and you're a member, go ahead and let me know down below, and we'll get to that. But for the most part, I think we're all set. Let's fade out on the music. And let's hit the pipe. All right. That's going to be it for me. I appreciate all of y'all for staying tuned and trying to get that free ticket. We'll send over the username. DJ Quill, congrats once again. Winner of the free ticket. Quill for life. But you're welcome, Hartman. Appreciate you popping in this evening, and always fun drafting with you. Chuck Nasty with a Broncos avatar. I could just skip this out of principle, but no, we don't hate our division rivals that much. Nothing but respect for the Broncos. If the Chargers don't win the division, it would be the Broncos this year. But accidentally drafted Jacobs in an auction tonight. No Lloyd. Who should I target? Tootin, Love, Henderson. I mean, if in a trade or on the draft board, I would take Love at that point. I think I would just take Jeremiah Love that late versus Tootin. I'll take him there. But I do like Tootin enough to draft him, but I don't really want to trade for him because we'll probably get like reamed for it. Yikes. Good luck. Of those three, I would want Jeremiah Love. Of those three, give me Jeremiah Love. But John Tara says thanks, was conflicted on whether to grab Flacco that late. I think I would have liked a fourth quarterback, but Go Horns, you're welcome. You're welcome, Mike, as always. And Anthony, peace out, brother. It looks like we're done for the evening. We've hit tomorrow. It's 12:03 a.m. And I'll take one final look at the eclipse. It's probably not the same visibility, but I'll take a look at it. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you next time. Good night.